Ready?
Ready.
1, 2, 3. What up, dude?
What's up, dude? Thank you so much for having me.
Mo. Thank you for saving my fucking ass last minute, literally. Like you
my
had to
pleasure.
agree to this like last night, late
While we
after
were
a
in
show,
Memphis.
right? While you're in Memphis, yeah.
We were listening to 3-6 Mafia, and I asked Robert, I was like, hey, do we have anything to do tomorrow? And he's like, no, because we were supposed to like do some printing stuff or whatever. And it's like, do you want to do Crash Cast? And he's like, yeah, let's fucking do it. I can curse,
Thank
right?
you. Oh, you can say whatever you
Okay.
want. Shit, fuck, piss. No one cares.
Farts.
Farts. Hey now. You said cuss, not be disgusting. No, I'm just kidding. So how was last night, man? High tone.
It was so much fun. It's like this tiny little room, but like there's cool like Ninja Turtle stuff everywhere.
So I was hella jealous of that. There was not a Ninja Turtle mural when I played there. That's fucking awesome. That's the small room, I assume? Mm-hmm. Because is it still 2 rooms?
Yeah, they have a big room upstairs where they were doing open mic, which was really cool. Like I got to sit in between bands while I was waiting on food. I got to watch these people do like their attempt at stand-up comedy. It was so good. Most of them weren't very good. Most of it was kind of generic, but it was really fun. You know what I mean?
That's kind of the thing about open mic.
And
it's
it's the
a crapshoot.
juxtaposition of like people telling bad jokes upstairs and then like grindcore and stuff downstairs. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Love that, dude. We did that in Chicago where it was like metal, like punk metal stuff downstairs. Upstairs was a guy with an acoustic guitar singing like cover tunes. It's like, man, this is just vastly different. Two very different things. It was the dude from Taking Back Sunday, the big guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was, dude. He was drunk. I mean, belligerent, messing up everything. Like, and all anyone wanted to hear was like Taking Back Sunday songs. Right. But he could give a shit because he wasn't in. He had already quit, you know? So like, he's like, the last thing I want to do is play fucking Taking Back Sunday song. And it was awful. He was having a bad time.
So wait, what was the crowd like?
Just sitting, you know. Upstairs, it was just people sitting around, like yelling from a bar stool. Play this song, Free Bird.
That sounds
that kind of
so
shit.
awful.
Yeah. Oh, it was fucking miserable. I mean, downstairs wasn't much better, like as far as like the scale of people having a good time. It had started snowing, so everyone's like, you get that, oh no, and you're in Chicago, so like they have like lake effect snow, so it can go from kind of snowing to, oh shit, there's 4 feet of snow on the ground like an hour later. So I'm sure people are like hustling around. We ended up seeing somebody we knew, which is crazy. You ever go somewhere randomly and just see someone you know far from home?
Kind of. I had a couple of moments like that.
Yeah,
They were really weird. Oh, it was one of them was at Maryland Death Fest. I saw somebody from Louisiana that I didn't even know listened to heavy metal there. That was really weird.
You from Louisiana?
Yep.
No shit. What part?
It's a town called Monroe. Actually, it's called I stayed in West Monroe. But it's the same town basically.
Sure. I mean, North Little Rock. Come on, man. It's just a bridge.
Yeah.
Really.
But
Bossier City, Shreveport, same.
It's the same.
Same.
Oh, but dude, like people in Bossier City get really mad if you call it Shreveport, then like no one in Shreveport's gonna call like Shreveport Bossier City. It's just so it's like only like one side that gets mad about it.
They're like, we don't want to be associated with that. Like, look, the whole city's bankrupt. We want nothing to do with you. Shreveport is a ghost town, man.
And I'm excited that we get to play there soon in like February.
Where are you playing?
We're playing at Bears on Fairfield with our friends in a band called Weather, which I'd been watching Trey's bands like play for a long time, just like growing up in North Louisiana, and they would come through. And so to play a show with them is really exciting.
That is exciting.
And also we're playing with a band called Blood Drunk, which their vocalist John Breedlove was in a band called Crack Fight. And he was in a band called Sheeple. And I used to watch them all the time. They would come through and play. Because like the bar that those bands played was the same one where I met Ted and Stan, because Jungle Juice played there back in like 2010 or 11 or whatever. So
you got one of those steel trap memories, don't you?
Oh yeah.
You're
when it
just
comes to
fucking
heavy
locked
metal,
in,
like I could tell you, now there are some foggy moments, but like for the most
So
part,
you born in Monroe? You just Monroe, born and raised? For the most part, yeah.
I mean, I spent some time like living in Florida with my mom, and then like I moved back to Louisiana, and then I stayed in Louisiana until I just decided to pack all my stuff up and move to Arkansas.
So it was Louisiana to here. Okay, that's more what I was getting to. Was there an in-between from there to here?
No. It was December 2021. I was playing in a band. It was cool. We got to go on tour with my friend Mitch Lang. Shout out to Mitch Lang Band.
Mitch Lane?
Mitch Lang.
Okay.
He makes movies and stuff. He's so awesome.
That's cool.
And so I was playing in his band, but like I could tell the people in the town did not care. Sure. And I didn't realize, because I didn't feel it. It just, when we played, it just didn't feel.
Wasn't connecting.
It wasn't connecting. Yeah. Even though, and that was fine. But I wanted something different, so I started.
What was it? Like metal or?
It was like punk and like rock and roll, and garage rock, I guess.
Some a little more. I was gonna say subdued, like not just balls to the wall, crazy.
Yeah, it's 4-chord songs.
Sure.
And like some of the songs are about superheroes. They had a whole album about Naruto, which is one of my favorite. There's a song called "Believe." It's my favorite song to play by them. And yeah. And people liked it, and especially like because we did like a little mini tour, and people like were into it. But then in Monroe, they were like, whatever.
Sure.
And so I just needed to change. So I started applying for jobs within the company I worked for, and then I managed to get a call. It was about a year ago from the day we're recording this. It was either I think the 5th or the 6th is when I got a call from Little Rock,
right?
And got told I had a job here.
So you've only been here a year?
Yeah.
Not even a year.
Not even
technically.
a year yet.
And you've already done all the things you've done?
Dude,
because it was immediate. Because a guy like you're a very noticeable person. You're very tall, big statured man, and you just showed up one day and you found all the things immediately and just started chucking and jiving.
I had a lot of experience doing things sort of.
Media, right?
Yeah, doing media. I used to book shows. I used to sort of, I was really involved in the music scene back home when it was like a thing. Then I was doing like journalism and all that stuff. Sure. And when I knew I got the job here, I was like, okay, what do you really want to do? Well, I knew that I used to come here to see Wake and Paul Bear and all these bands. So it's like, I want to play in a band and like maybe something cool will happen from it. I wanted to play death metal, but once I moved here, I'm like, oh, well, like there's so many people playing death metal. I don't really know what I want to do. But for me, the serendipitous moment and sort of my favorite part of this whole story is on January 21st of last year, I came up here to just visit. I wanted to see what Little Rock was like, see if I could live here,
Sure,
absolutely. Look for a place to live.
Big jump to move somewhere.
And so I was like, okay, what do I want to do? Well, I knew I liked singing karaoke. So I met up with I joined a Arkansas karaoke Facebook group and like made a friend on there. And so they showed me some cool places in like Jacksonville. And I sang there. And it was cool. I sang at Hard Riders, which was really fun.
I was going to say, is it Hard Riders? Yeah.
It was, and I sang like Marilyn Manson. And like these people are like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. Which is a common reaction. And I'm cool with that, But then the next day, I went to a place, I don't even remember which one it was, and I was kind of bored, and I was like, okay, what do I really want to do? And I started scrolling Facebook, and I saw this poster with, it was one with Pantheon and a civil servant, and I was like, what the hell is this? I don't know, but it looks heavy metal, and I've been wanting to check out Whitewater, and so I was like, okay, well, let's give it a shot.
Sure.
And so I walk in, and I see this dude with a big old beard and a full of hell shirt playing what's that thing called, Robert?
Yes.
A dulcimer. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
I just fucking Narnia'd into it.
Because he's wearing like a full of hell shirt, looking so heavy metal. The dude looks so heavy metal. And I was like,
rocking a dulcimer.
I don't know what this is, but I am here for it. And then while Robert was playing, I met Baker. And Baker and I just...
Shout out Baker, man.
Shout out Jeremiah James Baker.
Yep.
And he and I, I was so happy. I'm like, dude, I'm so excited to see a death metal band play, because it had been, and then I made the joke, I went to Maryland Death Fest in 2012, and it had been about almost 10 years since I got to see extreme metal live, So, due to just various things. I got to watch Robert do his thing, then he and I met, and we became friends immediately. And then I watched Pantheon, and just, it blew me away. And I was like, okay, when I get back up here, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go hang out at Whitewater. I'm going to hang out at Vino's. I'm going to keep making friends, and let's see what happens.
So did you go, yeah, cool, I can live here from then? Or was like I needed a couple
Dude,
more minutes? No, that was it?
I knew immediately. I knew from singing karaoke, Hard Riders, and then going next door to the whatever place. I knew that night I was going to love it here. And the whole thing has just been, one word I use the most is serendipity, dude. It's so, everything just happens so beautifully since I moved
it was
here.
Supposed to happen kind of thing. Man, I've been hard on that for the last couple years. The universe is kind of chucking and jiving and making me be in places for better or worse. You know, like what we were talking about, all that stuff before we even started. Like for better or worse, it feels intentional. I can't quite describe it yet, and I don't know why. Because
even with you guys, like watching Shinfo, watching My Hands to War, it just feels different. You know what I mean? And that it's not. Sometimes you just watch a band and you're like, oh shit. And then the other times it's just like, oh yeah, this is cool. So and with you guys, like both times I've watched each of those bands, it felt different. So like, yeah, it's one of those things you were put here to do for sure.
Yeah. Well, that was so like MHW is like the main thing, so it's like very serious and very structured, and there's a lot of chaos, but it's all very on purpose, you know. Like, and it's also in our DNA, right? Like it's just in us, and I think that shows the most, especially live.
And you guys are so so over, like people like before I went because I would ask people, so what are some of y'all's favorite live bands? Everybody said My Hands to War. Like, and that was before you and I even met, because I think the night you and I met was at
Eyes Up House.
Was it? It was probably. Oh yeah, it was the Eyes Up House.
I think it was Eyes Up. It had to be Eyes Up or Vino's, but I think it was Eyes Up House. Yeah. I'm almost positive of it.
I was like, oh, that's the drummer from My Hands to War. I should go talk to him.
He's fatter in person. I was a fucking whale too, man. The pandemic was not kind to me. I'm still struggling to get all that pandemic weight off. I've got a gym membership. I've been going sorta. Like I need to really, kick it into high gear. I figure I'd wait till the New Year's resolution people are out of the way and go start hitting it again. Now, right now I'm down to like, once a week if I'm lucky. Yeah. But then Shinfo came out of just pure like, we need some other shit to do. We want to play more shows, but we want to fuck around. Like, we want to have some fuck around juice, and that's where which you saw it, so that's all it is. It's just pure nonsense.
But it's cool, and it's like, it's got a feeling to it where you're like, oh, this is exciting. What I'm watching, this is not, it's just fun.
It's designed, it's like, that's the only thing we do on purpose, is like, if we'll write something, and it doesn't feel like silly Billy. Like, it can be serious, but it still has to have a level of, like, haha, like, for shits and giggles to it, or we'll just throw it away. Like, we've written serious stuff and been like, this seems a little much, like, we're going a little too hard in the paint. Like, we just wrote one, and it might be one of the sickest it's just a ditty riff, it's not a lot of movement in it. It's just like this cool, calm, it almost sounds like something that would have came out of the 90s. And I was like, it's too serious, man. Like, it's a great riff, but it doesn't belong with this band.
Yeah.
Even though on an album, like on a record, it would be fucking... So we might record it and just put it out as ourselves, not as like Shinfo or My Hands to War. Or even Lame Johnny.
You that's... do a Shinfo My Hands to War split.
We could. That's awesome. Let's get back to last night. We completely went all over the place. High Tone's in a new spot from where even the last time when I played there.
Yeah, they moved it. It's apparently it used to be where Growler. It's all very confusing.
It was across the street from Growlers and like this movie store thing.
Yeah, Black Lodge. That place is not. It's even closer to that place now.
Really?
But so like it was really fun. I was gonna tell you. All right, so just moved to Little Rock. One thing that inspired me a lot was going to shows and watching like these cool bands, like watching Morbid Visions, watching Second Life, those two bands specifically, and like also like Pantheon and like Severe Headwind.
There's so many now.
It's cool watching those. It's cool watching all these like Little Rock bands and watching the way people here just erupt for those bands, right? Like, so the one jarring thing about playing Memphis is like, okay. Even at Whitewater, like when we're playing to a Doom crowd with Mammoth Caravan, people are kind of standing there, but that you can tell that they're feeling it and stuff. And like sometimes people will attempt to mosh. Dude, I was telling, I want you to hit a motherfucker in that pit, Memphis. They did not move whatsoever. They enjoyed it. They had fun. And the dudes from Credit were like, don't worry about the fact that they didn't. Like, But I was trying to get them to mosh because, like, in my head, well, these people are here to see a grindcore show. So I want to give them something to grind to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And they just stood still the whole fucking time. It was so weird.
Did they do that for all the bands?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There was a mosh pit for Corroded, and I think that's only because most of those people were there to see them and are friends with them. And also Corroded fucking rules.
They do.
They're so awesome.
They were here not that long ago, and they were
Crash
fucking...
Cast Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was fun.
And they were like... I was like, God, dog. They were fucking phenomenal. That's so weird, too, because you'll play those shows, and you'll be in your own head as a musician. You're like, man, what the fuck, dude? And then someone will come up to you and be like, that was amazing. And you're like... Did you have any? Were you in this? Are we in the same? It's funny how two people can be in the same room having two completely different moments from the exact same shit.
Yeah, it is weird.
That's wild.
And but I mean, people loved it. Like they were all very kind.
Yes.
And for me, it was important because Memphis is an important city to me. You know what I mean?
Oh, same, dude. I go there constantly.
Like 3-6 Mafia is my favorite rap group. I've been influenced. I've listened to them since I was a kid. It's probably what's so.
Didn't they just lose a member?
Yeah, Gangsta Boo, R.I.P.
Sad, dude. Stay away from fucking fentanyl, y'all.
Yeah.
Start testing your drugs.
Also,
I'm not anti-drug, but you got to start. They
Yeah.
make strip kits now. Like that is just insane.
Yeah, there's a lot about the fentanyl thing I don't understand. It's very
It's bad.
sad.
Dude. It's sad. This shit got prints, man. If it can get prints, it can get you. No one's safe. You just gotta. That's a little PSA from the Crash Cast and everybody. Just like they sell testing strips for fentanyl. Nobody's gonna judge you to get them. Like at least just don't die. Fuck.
Right.
You know that shit sucks. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Also, I love the Memphis Grizzlies. They're my favorite basketball team. And so, shout out John Morant. And so, like, there was this jersey on the wall. Like, I knew I was in the right place when we walked in because I looked over and I saw our poster on one side of the wall. And then, like, I look on the other wall and I see a Memphis Grizzlies jersey that's a 3-6 Mafia tribute or whatever.
Sick.
And I was like, oh, this is definitely. And then I saw that Ninja Turtles thing. I'm like, this is all my favorite stuff on the walls. This is where I was meant to be. That was fun.
I love that.
Because it was fun because I've gotten so used to it. I would even say a little spoiled by Little Rock because, like, I know if we play a show with people that are going to move, they're going to mosh, and it's so fun. God.
Fair.
I know you know this, but for me, there was nothing more fun than watching people punch each other while you play heavy metal.
So, I love people enjoying it. If they want to punch each other, all I want is for them to enjoy it, but I don't really get to see it.
Yeah.
I'm drumming 99% of the shows I play, and so
You can't really see
in.
much, I guess, behind the cymbals and all this stuff.
The lights, man. It's
Yeah.
just the angle at which you sit, and it's just. I mean, he knows. It's fucking. You don't want to look forward because everything's a shadow. At best, you can see like your back and maybe the front row.
Yeah. The one thing for me is I didn't realize this, but when I play live, apparently I like have my eyes closed a lot.
Sure.
So I
Same.
don't even watch. I didn't even really. People be like, "Oh, dude, people are like going crazy." But I was like, I couldn't even tell because
Because you're singing too, right?
I'm just close my eyes, singing and just pouring it out, But at that Chris at the Toy Drive show, watching those like kids like run around and like they were all that was so much fun,
Wasn't it?
It was so. It's an experience that, like, there's not much like it, I think. And that's why I enjoy doing this. I feel like playing heavy metal is what I was put here to do. I love talking about it. I love listening to it. I love playing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, yeah.
No, I get that 100%. Like, why would you? There's something. I think every musician who plays live on stages can tell you the same thing. It's like it's not for the money.
It's
period.
not for the money.
It's not for the money. So it
Definitely not
has
for
to
the
be
money.
something that keeps you coming back. To be able to put up with all the things you have to put up with, like having to be smart at everything now, and like running t-shirts and doing all this stuff, and like marketing geniuses, and you all have to be crazy involved, and yet for some reason, like I don't know that most people would do that for a job.
Right.
If your job was you have to do literally all this for $200 or whatever a paycheck is these days from like a company, I would rather do it for the free, for my own enjoyment. But that's what I'm saying. Like the enjoyment is so high.
Yeah.
When it's high, it's so high. It's like a drug. You're just trying to chase that high the whole time.
And it's, you're right, because like the lows, you're just like, it's fine. You know, you just sort of like, okay, yeah, this bad thing happened, but like, I'm not worried about it. We just, you know, you just keep pushing, you know, and that's one of the fun things about Mammoth Caravan, because like, you know, when we started this, dude, we had no idea what we were doing. It was the story basically. See, me and Robert, we were already friends. We met at an Eyes Up House show. It was the it was the one that described the moldy cheese, open casket, and CDO's Chieri, I think is what they're called. And they're a cool hardcore band from Chicago. And so Robert was like, "Hey, do you want to play sludge metal with me?" And I was like, yes, I sure do. I got these, you know, I brought I sold most of my stuff to come up here. I brought these pedals specifically designed to play doom metal, basically, right?
Right.
You know? And I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Bass specifically, because don't you play bass?
Well, I bought them as guitar pedals, but they just happen to sound really good through my bass.
Sure.
Because see, I started out playing guitar and I enjoy it, but I'm not good at it. I play guitar like a bass player, basically. So when I had that 5-string, I just, you know, going and jamming and stuff. And also shout out Gavin Brandt, because he like kind of taught me a lot how he taught me how to play a 5-string, how to play like heavy stuff. And because when I first moved here, and now we're in a band together. Can I give an exclusive announcement? It's called
do whatever you want.
It's called the Galrow, and it's going to be like black and leg death metal. And we have a song on our, they just put out a Facebook page, and it's a different type.
Is it live to go follow and like, or is it?
Yes,
it's public. Okay, cool.
And so it's we have like a little snippet, but like Gavin, he kind of taught me how to play death metal, you know, because that's what I wanted. I wanted to play heavy metal and stuff, and so like, you know, he was in the band Priya for a little bit, and like so I just getting to grow to the where point Mammoth Caravan is at, you know, all the growth leading up to it. And because since we started this band, like once we got in that room and we started playing,
it was immediate, y'all.
It was immediate.
Even from the outside looking in, it was immediate.
I was surprised at like, you know, how excited people were about it when we first started, you know, because I didn't think anybody would care. And like, that's the one thing. And I know this may sound bad.
That's just being a musician.
I know Little Rock loves doom metal. Because I see the bands here that are successful and I see what they're doing and they're playing death metal.
And it's not a lot of doom, right?
But I love doom metal,
sure.
and I'm good at it. I'm better at playing slow than I am better at playing fast. So like, let's do it. Mm-hmm. And I didn't expect people to care. And the fact that they do care and all the kind words has been such a blessing. You know what I mean?
So fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it all happens so fast.
And we've talked about this before.
Have you been here a year yet? This is what's so crazy.
Even when this podcast drops,
it still hasn't been here a year. That's fucking silly, yo.
Dude, so our Shreveport show that we're playing on the 17th of February, that will be about a year. So within a year of moving
didn't y'all already post about your vinyl? Can I say y'all posted that, right?
Yeah.
You know how, dude? I had 2 people, which doesn't sound like a lot of people, but 2 people were like, "How did they do that?" And I was like, "I'm not gonna say it, but I bet if you message Robert, he'll tell you."
Oh yeah,
because he told me. I was like, he told me after the podcast, but I'm not going to give away
He barely told me. I had to be like, "Hey, wait, who are we doing this through?"
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and so. I used to I used to collect records bad. I had to stop buying them because I stopped having them.
It becomes an addiction, man.
And I brought. It was a difficult decision getting rid of most of my records.
Did you move here and like float, like couch hop, or was it like?
I moved here and stayed at Airbnbs, and then I got lucky and I met this this wonderful lady named Karen who like. I stayed at her house as an Airbnb, and we became friends like immediately. And eventually, she's like, "Hey, I got this other room," and she let me like rent it out. And so that's how I got. In my first few months here, when I was doing the heavy hits thing, interviewing bands and all that stuff, I was living in North Little Rock, and my schedule was different. I was off during the evenings, so like it was very perfectly like structured where I was able to like live kind of real close to everybody, and you know I was always going to Venus, Whitewater, and making new
you
friends.
were everywhere. That's a huge.
And I had to, because I knew that's what it was going to take to make the kind of friends and to do the things that I wanted to do here, is make these connections, meet people. You know,
I mean, you're like a walking example of what it takes. Like you're what you need to do. You go to the thing, you hang out with the people. You know, it's going to be weird for a little bit.
When it been the gap after I met Robert before I officially moved here, because I met him on the 21st of 2022, and then I moved here officially on the 12th of 2022. And so between January 22nd and February 12th, I just told myself, all right, I plotted out all the things I want to do. I want to meet and become friends with the dudes from Wake and Paul Bear and Deadbird and all these bands and stuff. And I just set a list of goals. And I was like, I want to play Vinos. That was one of my number one biggest goals, was to play Vinos.
Shout out,
to be
dude.
sitting here touching a piece of Vinos history right now is very special.
Yeah.
And
because you never got to play on this, did you?
No, I saw Land with God and Dillinger Escape Plan and Under Oath and Every Time I Die and Atreyu and Unearthed and all those bands play on this stage.
Well, now you're talking on it.
Yeah.
Right where all their drummers sat and their singers almost died. I love that. That's one of my favorite stories. Like,
yeah, this is so neat. I'm so glad y'all did this.
In particular, if you ever got to sit on that stage, this piece is iconic to the folks who walked around on it. Like, just this piece right here. And I did that very specifically because if you tell someone, no matter when they played, you'd be like, this is the trampoline piece, they'd go, oh, fuck. Because it was a death trap. Like, it was just so terrifying, man. You'd step on it, and this drummer shit would just start doing this. Like, this was the only thing holding it up was the fact that it was, like, in between other pieces. Because once we took it off, like, as we were tearing it, like, it was like me, Stan, and Todd, and, like, Kurt there was a whole group of us. We were just tearing shit off. Justin was there. Once we got to this piece, I was like, I have to know, and we're getting the pry bars under there, and it just kind of lifts up, and we're like, what the fuck? And we lift it up, and everything underneath it is just broken in half. All of it. Oh, wow. There was no supports, no nothing. So quite literally, just the rim of the plywood is all that was holding on.
Oh my God.
One good just super bounce, and it just would have caved the whole thing in, I feel like. But here it is.
This is so cool. And like, dude, like when we played Venus, like it was such a like that first show, that Kaonashi show. I didn't know how I was gonna go, like, because I was like, okay, so like we're a doom metal band, we're playing with a bunch of hardcore bands, and never heard Zashed, didn't know who those dudes were or whatever, and so they were a big surprise. I'm gonna be honest with you. After watching Zashed play that night, I was like, how the fuck are we going on after that?
Yo, same. We all said the same shit. We're all like seasoned veterans, We were like, holy fuck, the youngsters got it.
Yeah. And so I think in a way, like Jackson inspires me and he pushed me. I was like, okay, like watching, this crowd is so into like his little, he was making them. What was he was making them do? Like
he's got that thing,
the hokey pokey and stuff like that. And so it made. I think in a sense it made me feel more comfortable being myself up there and just
like things don't matter. Just say it and they'll we're all here to have fun, really. Hopefully.
Yeah, and so. So yeah, that show was so surreal. Like it was, and then like people were like chanting my name afterwards, which was really strange to me, because like
was this your first front man experience?
Yeah.
Okay, that one's huge.
Yeah, it was,
I've done that too. I've been where you are, like that first time when you're like, man, I don't know how this is gonna go. Like, and I'm so self-detrimental. Like I'm so hard on myself. And then I do Lame Johnny too, and it just. Oh my God, the nerves on our first show. And it was in a shit box of a place. Like no one came. Thank God. I was so nervous. I was smoking. I've since quit smoking, but I was smoking cigarettes unbelievable before the show. I was like coughing in between songs and shit. It was terrible. I did so bad.
Dude, and that's because I smoke. And so it's very... It's very interesting. Mm-hmm. I've found myself, like, there's been at least a couple of times where I felt like I'm about to pass out on the stage. And I had to, dude, one of them was at Area 51. The only thing that stopped me from falling face first is because I didn't have any water and I didn't rethink about all the energy expulsion and all the water required. And so it was at Area 51. I was in the middle of playing the song Petroglyphs, and I just took a big deep breath through my nose and blew out through my mouth and just kept going. and it just sort of, I managed to make it.
I've had a few. Dude, I've had some lights out moments where like I legitimately one show, and I want to say it could have even been the live stream. It was in recent years. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna pass out right now, like because we were just going so fucking hard, and back then I was singing more too, so it probably wasn't the live stream. It's probably before that, but I mean, just the amount of energy. And then you're using all your oxygen, and you're singing, so you're using even more oxygen. And I started just fucking like I saw that like closing, dude, and the same shit. I had to sit straight up and holy fuck,
it's terrifying. It's the most terrifying feeling in the world.
I will say, quitting smoking definitely helped the blood flow issues I was.
I need to quit smoking. It's but
you smoke a lot.
Yeah. Well, maybe
dude, I was like fucking packing a half a day, 2 packs.
I'm about a pack a day and every couple of days kind of thing. If sometimes I could burn through a whole. Like, it's weird. I
like smoking though.
I like it's fun, and it's but it's also, I heard someone make an analogy like quitting smoking is like telling yourself to stop punching yourself in the face. You have to be like, stop punching yourself in the face, like
but it feels so good. I just can't.
And also, like, it's such a, being in social scenarios, sometimes it's awkward. And I get overstimulated at shows sometimes and stuff,
sure.
So I'll just go stand outside. And then what do I want to do outside? Oh, I want to have a cigarette, And then it's just kind of, next thing I know, I've been chain smoking and just, like, listening to bands play from outside. And I'm just
dude.
Like,
I can tell you how many new packs I've opened outside of Vino's and just crushed that whole pack in the span of 2 hours, just choking them down.
Dude,
so bad.
How did you quit? What was your secret?
Just stop.
You just stopped?
I think it's the only way I can do stuff.
Cold turkey.
Yeah, because I'm just full force with anything. And basically it just got bad enough where I was like, oh, I'm going to fucking die, like for sure. Like I'm smoking 2 packs a day. My breathing is fucked. And like it's starting to show live. Like all these things, it just like the list just starts growing, And finally I was just like, all right, it's stop or stop living. Just die, get cancer, and do that whole fucking thing. And so,
have to just go cold turkey.
I thought things do help. Like me and my wife quit at the same time, and she used those nicotine patches, like Nicorette, right? Yeah. And that really helped. But like everyone I know that did it, even her, she was like, my dreams are insane. I'm like, well, fuck all that. I don't need that. So I just stopped, man. I just was like, fuck it. And one day I just didn't buy any, and it sucked for a week, 2 weeks. And now it's been months. And like, I don't miss it. I just wish smoking didn't kill you. Like if I could do like 2 or 3 a day, I'd be on that. But like the second I have one, I'm going to have 20 for sure. It's kind of like beer.
Yeah.
The second I pop one, it's all day, So it is what it is. I'm better for it, I guess, like physically speaking. My lungs will.
So do you have more energy when y'all play shows and stuff?
Maybe not more energy, because I'm always like I'm an energy, just gobble it up. Like I'm always just doing something. I'm always going full force into it. And I live on caffeine, but definitely like longevity. It helped being at like stamina. Especially drumming, when you're drumming for an hour.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. I don't know how the hell he does it.
Yeah. And you're full force and your whole body's flexing, and you're, and sometimes now, I don't really do it as much as I used to, but like singing at the same time, it definitely is like, cool, I can get through that verse, and like, it doesn't even matter now, So, pros and cons. But then at the end of the day, it's just like, smoking's pretty fun.
Yeah, it is. Shout out Cameron Crush Mythos.
Yeah. I was a Marlboro guy myself.
And see, like, it didn't really start like until the last couple of years. The sad thing is, I feel like it makes my death growl. Like, I feel like it makes it scratchier, and like, cause I'm not like, when I sing, I'm not just like, I'm not trying to be like the songwriter of my generation up there.
It's not going for operatic.
No, I'm just yelling.
That's right. I was the same way. Mine is the same way. Like it's sing-songy-ish, but like there's a lot of grit in there.
See, I'm in the unfortunate like product of listening to way too much Metallica. So like, there's a lot. And probably anybody that's listening, like, there's a lot of James Hetfield in the way that I do my like screaming, and it's not even intentional. It's just because I've listened to the man's voice so much, and I just and I've listened to his live albums, and I even have all like his little like things he says for like the live shit, Benj and Purges, all that stuff memorized, and so but it's also cool. It's fun to have that inspiration just sort of come out.
Yeah. Well, you take that if you like that, and then you build on that. At first you're going to have like the little imposter syndrome. You're kind of just doing what they're doing. But then eventually it just becomes your version of it. And now that's how you sing.
What I did, so the one thing that started this whole like playing music was doing karaoke, right?
Which I like it because it's more of a Lemmy vibe to me personally. Like when I watched y'all finally. Because
Wait, Lemmy, really?
I would think you gave off more Lemmy vibes to me than Hetfield vibes.
Oh, that means so much to me because Lemmy is my hero.
Lemmy is a god.
And Lemmy, Lemmy, Phil Knott from Thin Lizzy, and Peter Steele from Typo Negative.
Yeah.
Those are my three like bass player, vocalist, frontman like influences.
Okay.
So that's cool to hear the Lemmy thing. But like when I do karaoke, I always do this Carrie Underwood's Before He Cheats, but I do it my way, right? And people call it screamo, but really it's just me. It's the same singing that I do in Mammoth Caravan is the same way I sing that Carrie Underwood song, and so I think it sort of taught me how to sing this way, which is awesome.
I need to come witness some of your karaoke
Tuesday
for myself.
night at the Whitewater.
I bet it's so fun, dude.
It's fun. Hey, Robert and his wife were there, and I sang "Pony" by Genuine.
It was the most vile yet incredible thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's just so unassuming. Like you're not looking like first take Brandon Ringo. You're not thinking, I bet this man loves karaoke. Like that's not my first fucking thought.
But that's what brought it. Dude, like, because there's this bar at home called the Brass Monkey, and the staff there, they were so sweet, they were so wonderful, and there would be times where they were the only people I was singing to.
Right.
But I knew I had to do this. I was going through a very traumatic thing in my life, and I was like, that's what made me happy. So I just got used to, God bless them, they would have to listen to me sing like Megadeth. And like, one time I think I sang like 6 Megadeth songs in a row, unstopped, because nobody else was
there. You're closer to my age though, right?
Yeah, I'm 38 now.
That's right. So all that stuff, what's the age for you? Because I mean, mine started in like teenagerhood. I really missed the boat. Like my shit really didn't come around till like 8th, 9th grade, like end of 8th grade, going into 9th grade, like interest, in maybe I want to be playing music and not just listening to it. Dude. Was yours like?
Mine started during COVID.
That's fucking crazy.
So, okay. Brief backstory.
Because you were doing journalism before that, right?
Yeah. So I played bass for a little bit. My dad bought me this really cool bass back in like high school. And I learned to play a little bit. But the problem is, I tried playing like Slayer and Pantera and Metallica songs and stuff, and I couldn't even play like Smoke on the Water, basically.
You gotta start with the basics.
So I would get frustrated that I can't play Slayer, Rain and Blood, and so I just gave it up. I was like, fuck this, I don't want to do this. And I was booking shows and I had other things going. I was trying to get through college and stuff. I was like, this playing music thing, whatever. I would just rather go see bands. So anyways, started interviewing bands, doing the whole journalist thing. Shout out New Noise Magazine. God, this is such a fun like time of my life, and it was cool because it was kind of I was working a boring job, and that was what made me happy. And then eventually during COVID, I just felt this weird urge, like I was like, I have to play music. And this dude of mine, who this friend of mine that I hadn't talked to in ever, he just started making shit on his phone, and it sounded really cool. And I was like, okay, I could do this. So I talked to my friend Brian at work, Brian Leonard, of this band called Boudin and the Holy Electric Sausage Kitchen, shortened to Boudin now.
Yo, shout out Boudin. Boudin is delicious as fuck, man.
It is.
My friends live in Broussard, and their mom makes the best Boudin sausage. Oh my! I would fucking get in a fight for that.
That's just so good.
It's so good.
And Brian was like, I had this shitty old Fender. Like, dude, it was one of those guitars like you would buy at Sam's Club or whatever.
Like a quart.
Yeah. And it was like just sitting in the fucking closet with missing the strings. So I went and bought some strings. Yeah, it was a Fender. And so,
Fender shape. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I went and got some strings and he put it on there for me and I started playing Iron Man. And then I started playing other like Black Sabbath songs and I learned some Danzig and I learned some like Venom and like Misfits and like I just kind of kept working my way through and then I started learning Electric Wizard and shit. And like it just kind of continued and like playing like like the stuff that we play in Mammoth Caravan.
Yeah,
that's the stuff that was kind of like my dream music, honestly. Like, and I think that's what makes this so fun for me is, when I envision how I would want my band to sound, I feel like this is exactly because it's awesome. What I've been playing for. I wanted to play music because once I started playing guitar, like playing,
it gets in you.
Yeah. It got hard to stop.
And,
and so even when I was learning to play guitar, I didn't think I wanted to be like a musician and be like on stage and doing the shit I'm doing now. I was just having fun with it. And then my friend Mitch Lang asked me if I wanted to record an album. And so I was like, yeah, we did it on his back porch. Then I ended up joining his band, going on tour with him and all that stuff. Once we went on tour and I was able to survive a 5-day tour, like, that's when I was like, okay, this is real. Like, this is the thing I want to do. And so that's when I knew when I came up here, I was going to take it seriously and I was going to do something because I knew I had to. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And
I do know what you mean.
So that's why that's why like this is also special to me because like it's what I've wanted so much.
And just in 2 years.
Yeah, in 2 years.
Like, what the fuck?
Like,
how does it, first off, it found you, like, not music, but being a musician, playing an instrument in a band, touring, found you much later in life. So you're like 30, 35, 36.
I was like 36 when I started playing music, basically.
And now you're already, within that span of time, you're already releasing a vinyl, doing the thing, playing countless fucking shows at this point already.
Well, actually,
and 2023 is looking
7. Up. Yeah, we've played 7 so far, and then we have.
Yeah, but you just started. I'm saying there's not a band that's just starting that's already out the thing, and then like, oh, we've done this. Oh, vinyl too. Hey, and we're doing a video, which that video shoot looked like it was fun as shit.
Dude, it was so much fun.
At the playground.
Oh my God. So it was really funny because like I had never done anything like that, pantomiming and stuff. But I played at Area 51, so I'm used to playing and not here. Just kidding. I'm just kidding, okay? But so
everyone that's played there knows exactly what you're saying, bro. Don't worry.
I love you, Jason.
Yeah.
So anyways, so like we had this, like we weren't, we didn't have the amps and shit plugged up, but Robert was like, dude, do you want to like shoot a music video? I'm like, yes. It's like, what if we were to take the amps from my house to the park up the road? Because we had already shot a promo video there. I was like, fuck yes. So we talked to my Machete Eddie, who is important to me because I used to also, like the other guys I had talked to, he used to come play Monroe all the time. Yeah. So I like became, he played in I Wrestled a Bear once. And I'm like, shout out Stephen Bradley. I love that dude so much. He's so cool. So I became friends with I Wrestled a Bear once before they blew up and stuff. And so Eddie came and filmed our video. So to have a dude that I, used to watch him play and now he's filming us.
Oh, yeah. Love those moments, man.
And his narrative is perfect because, like, dude, so I'm sitting there getting my oil changed, right? And Eddie's like, hey, I have this idea for the video. After he agreed to say yes, he started pitching it to me. And I copy and pasted the conversation, showed it to Robert. And I was like, are you cool with this? And Robert's like, yes. And so basically, we conceived the whole video in, like, X amount of time. And actually today, the day that this comes out, I believe is the day our video gets released.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
That's
it's just
so go to YouTube or wherever the fuck.
YouTube.com/Mammoth Caravan Doom Metal or
there
whatever.
You go. Yeah, yeah. Facebook.
Facebook.myspace.com.
MySpace.
/Mammoth Caravan Doom.
Zanga. Fire. What was the fire one? Angel Fire.
Check out Ice Cold Oblivion on February 24th out on LimeWire and Napster exclusively. In the private bay.
So yeah, but when does Crash Casket to see it?
Email.
Today.
Today,
Is
yes,
it done?
we'll show it to you.
Is it really?
After this podcast,
Oh,
Get
Bro,
fucked.
Eddie had the motherfucker done.
Y'all
the
work
day
so
after.
fast. Y'all work so fast. It's unfucking precedented, y'all. 3 of you do more shit in like a week. And I'm over here like, yeah, fuck it.
Yo,
'Cause we-
tell him about the fucking metal injection thing last time.
Oh, I just saw that today.
Bro, so metal injection.
Is that did you do that?
No, I don't know how it happened. Well, I know how it happened.
If you don't know how it happened, then that's even better.
Basically, what happened is, so we're coming back from Memphis after all this. All these people said wonderful things.
Right,
We
right.
sold merch. It was the most beautiful out of town show experience you could ask for, right? And so we're like coming home, and then my friend Justin Norton,
This is a John Cena rap album.
we were listening to because I was making fun of Robert. I was like, Robert, because this is a true story. This man goes, I feel like the John Cena rap album is more influential to me than any Doom album. So I was picking on so we started listening to it. And then my friend Justin Norton sends a Facebook message to me and Robert's like, hey, you guys made Metal Injection. So we look at the article and I was like, flabbergasted because these dudes have like 1 million followers on
Dude, it's
Facebook.
Metal Injection. That's crazy.
And so what happened basically, we've paid this company called Climber PR. We got set up through them. My friend Justin, he was like, he told me you should look into Clawhammer, and that I went in, found their email, sent them an email, and he emailed them for me also. So they had the record already like before they even.
Right.
So we got to talking, and we're like, yeah, let's do this. And I gave him the stuff. Getting to do PR for this record has been so much fun. Because being a journalist, I love getting to talk. I love getting to
Being on the other side of that.
getting to send out news releases. It's my favorite. Like Mammoth Caravan releases X single. God,
That's got to be great for you too, though, because
Because
like
I'm
you've
also
been on the
in-
other side, so you know how to say things. Like what's a bad way to like don't
and
word
I
it like
know
that. Word
what
it like this.
I know what I like as far as like, and I've seen bands like what they do with cool album release campaigns and shit.
Right.
So that having that knowledge, connections, and all that stuff is made getting to do that as a musician so much fun.
Right.
And getting to be on the other side, it's really cool. But I enjoy getting to play both sides because I still want to continue to like interview other bands and I want to write about bands and I don't want to just like rest on my laurels. You know what I mean?
Sure,
I want
sure.
to keep going with it because this is what I enjoy.
I mean,
You know what
same. I mean, I'm literally doing that right now.
Yeah,
Like, that's
exactly.
Same shit.
What you're
yeah.
doing, see, because the minute, like, you were goals for me. Like, what you do is, I was like, this dude's doing a podcast and he's playing in this cool ass band. Like, those are the things that I wanted to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I saw you as inspiration before I even met you. And then we met, and I was like, wow, this guy's actually really nice too. This is cool.
Mostly.
Mostly,
Sometimes I'm a piece of shit. That's okay.
it'd be like that.
I'm very
sometimes.
passionate.
A passionate piece of shit.
Yeah. I'm a passionate piece of shit. So, if you're doing, did you go to college for this?
Bro. I
You
went
just
to
kind of
I went to
high
college.
school into just.
I went from high school and I worked at a radio station.
Were you in high school in Louisiana?
Yes.
Okay.
So I graduated from high school and I was like, okay, well, I could do college, but I was not ready. I was a dumb fucking high school, okay? Like, it took me a couple of years.
I was a fucking party.
I had to
dude.
get into my 20s before I, like, even really became a human being.
I was really into doing dumb shit. Crimes were a huge part of my
I
life.
would do the opposite. I would just veg out for hours. I would just do nothing. Like I would go home from school and play Madden until it was time until I fell asleep.
I feel it. See, I would just learn solid state bands records on guitar.
Well, and then once I
Hi.
started going to shows, that's when it changed. I got invited to my first like local like hardcore show.
So you were out of high school when that happened?
Yeah, my senior year is when I went to my first shows. This Blessed Morning, Plastic Glass. I'm shouting all these bands out
do
on
it.
purpose.
Yeah.
This Blessed Morning, The Burning Issue, 12 Gauge Valentine, and Plastic Glasses.
12 Gauge Valentine, nice.
12 Gauge, yeah, they used to play here.
I used to
love
have one of
that.
their shirts.
Dude, those guys they were so cool to me, and like and it was fun to see them get successful. Like, we talk about watching bands, like watching 12 Gauge literally come out from bumfuck nowhere,
Right.
and get signed to Solid State.
Yep.
That was very inspirational to me, and that was one of the things that I sort of, you watch the way other people do things, and you're like, okay, if I had the opportunity, what would I do with it? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And so-
Daydreaming.
But yeah, so like I went to that first show, and that's when I was like, oh, this is something. You know what I mean?
Oh, it'll get you. If it don't, it's gonna get you or it's not. I feel like with the underground stuff, man, I got immediately.
Yeah, my most of my 20s are spent going and watching. I would go to Warped Tour. I'd go to any festival I could go to, like Rockstar May. The only one I regret I didn't get to go to was Ozfest, but like that was more like I was more into like Warped Tour.
We just
like,
talked about it. I went to one Ozfest, and like low key, Ozzy. Not only, of course, he was the best, but he was the best so much that the rest of the fest wasn't really worthwhile.
Yeah.
It was kind of shit. It wasn't that great. Warped Tour is much more fun.
They used to like really, there would just be some cool moments. But see, yeah, like Warped Tour is way more fun because you could be literally watching Paramore and then you watch like August Burns Red and then like Under Oath.
It's just so much genre hopping.
Every Time I Die.
Yeah. Different kinds of stages too, so you're not getting the same. Some you can just literally walk like. Watching the Chariot on a generator stage is far different than watching, Paramore from the main stage.
I saw As Cities Burn and Evergreen Terrace both playing. They had split up the main amphitheater stage where like Disturbed and then played.
Yep. The duel where they split it and have it on each side. Yes.
Watching Evergreen Terrace and ACB play that was fucking weird because I used to watch As Cities Burn play. I watched them play in a coffee shop to like 15 people.
I was gonna say, which version of ACB was it?
Was before Solid State.
Okay.
Like, they came and played in Monroe. That shit was so inspirational to me because they were so passionate about it. You know what I mean? Like, you could feel the passion for their music oozing out of it. And you could just feel it, and it created this beautiful environment,
I feel like with them, even with the genre changes, it was the whole time. They oozed.
Wait, they're from Arkansas, right?
One of them was.
Okay.
The rest of them are from Louisiana. The two brothers are
that's
from
right,
Louisiana.
from Baton Rouge. Dude, you know what? I saw them play Baton Rouge, actually, and it was a really important show, but I didn't end up getting to. Well, I was down there, and they were playing, but then me and my friends left that show to go see Remembering Never play in New Orleans. I, in hindsight, should have watched As Cities Burn.
Sure.
Because I ended up getting way too drunk in New Orleans, and it was very weird.
Now it's dog. You're gonna get got. You go there, man.
Going to a Remembering Never show is usually never a great idea if you don't want to get punched in the face.
Sure. I've never been to a show in New Orleans, but I can't imagine how crazy it must be. I've been, but I've never I've just been for like the culture.
It's nuts.
And I guess when I was 3, I went to what's that giant festival they have?
I've seen everybody there from Hanson to Meshuggah.
You've seen Hanson? Now that's a real gear shifter.
It was the loudest crowd I've ever heard in my life.
Of course, they're singing every word.
And they were like,
was MMMBop just out of control?
It was deafening. It was deafening. I've seen Motorhead live. Hanson was like the crowd for Hanson. The reaction.
You have seen Motorhead? Motorhead ripped, dude.
Yeah,
I got to see him one time at the Simmons.
Dude, I was at that show.
That was so the loudest. They were louder than the Foo Fighters. There's only 3 of them.
Some girls got mad at me because I'm like super tall and kind of standing in the way, and they're like, "Can you move out of our way? We can't see." And I just looked at him and said, "That's Lemmy." No, and I just
all I can think is that scene from Wayne's World when he's like, "Excuse me, I'd like to get by now." He's like, "Get out of here, dweeb!" And he shocks him with the fucking thing.
I did end up letting them in front of me for Foo Fighters. I was like, I love the Foo Fighters.
Yeah,
but
same.
But like Lemmy, see, Lemmy's a Capricorn like me, so I'm like, that's
This man just dropped the fucking Capricorn.
Well, they have a song called Capricorn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I got
because Lemmy was born on the 24th, and I was born on the 25th of December. So.
Okay, sharing a birthday. Yeah. That's kind of cool.
And then LeBron James was born literally 5 days after me. So when you're calling LeBron James old. This is what you're calling old, and I don't appreciate it.
Hey, well, congratulations, man! You made it.
Thank you.
You're up there. When you get to
don't know how.
When you're on the other side of the mid-30s, you're like, shit, I made it. Fuck, I'm old now. Now it's just existing and doing what I want.
Exactly. And that's really what life has been like since I started playing music. Is now I've finally learned to pursue the things that bring me true joy.
Oh, wait. How did you get into journalism? That's where we were at.
Oh, yeah. So in college. Okay. So in college, basically, I had this teacher. I went there for network. It was Louisiana Delta Community College or whatever. Okay. I was taking classes for computer networking. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I listened to I would go to school high, and I would be listening to from Monster Magnet and Fu Manchu and all this music, and I was just more interested in listening to music stuff. Then this teacher was like, "Hey, your writing is this English teacher. I wrote some stories." She's like, "This is really good," and I was like, "Well, thank you." And she's like, "No, this is really good. You should continue to do this, for real." And
shout out to teachers that do that.
Shout out to teachers that do that, because it's
in my
important.
day. Yeah.
And so, what it did is, and then I would take that same day, I went and sat in the computer lab. I'm like, okay, well, what do I want to write about? I want to write about albums. So I wrote about some Suffocation record. I wrote about, I did a little thing. I had this, it was back when Facebook, you could do notes and stuff, I think. I'm pretty sure it's Facebook. It might have been MySpace. I'm that old. But it was, anyways, I was writing stuff, these reviews, and people were able to see them on social media. And they were like, this is good. So I started a blog, started writing about all these bands and stuff. I wrote about Zao, and I would write about my favorite albums.
Zao.
Then I would start I would just start finding stuff, illegally downloading albums that were coming out, and I would just write about them. And then so I would listen to it and then throw out a bunch of reviews and stuff. And instead of people being like, what the fuck is this? They were like, hey, I like this. I actually listened to that album. It was cool. So I just okay, let's keep going. Then that led to, I interviewed some bands and local bands and stuff, back home.
Yeah.
And I would get used to sitting and just having conversations with musicians, and I would ask them questions and stuff. And then I came up here for St. Vitus, Wake, Weed Eater, Yob, and I don't remember who else. And I sat in the car with CT and interviewed him. It was so much fun. And CT's smoking a bowl, just chilling, while I'm I'm just terrified, from nerves and stuff.
Right.
So when you did Voices of Omens, but it was, it was cool. And then I turned that interview into the magazine, this New Noise magazine, which that's a whole other story. But yeah, basically, long story short, journalism happened because a teacher told me, hey, your writing is good. You should continue to do it.
How about that?
And I said, fuck yeah, let's go. And so I started finding ways to do it.
One little thing changed your whole damn trajectory.
Yeah.
You could just be Brandon Ringo, the fucking guy at Circuit City selling you fucking...
I could be Brandon
you want
Ringo.
Cat 6, Cat 5...
I would have ended up probably working as the IT guy for an elementary school or some shit.
Oh,
or offices. I was
the weird guy with the past that's taller than all the children. They go,
the dude that when people say, "Hey, this computer doesn't work," I say, "Have you tried turning it on?"
Yeah, you're that guy. Yeah.
So, and I'm so thankful that I don't have to do that, because there was nothing interesting about that to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was more interested in reading about, listening to and learning about heavy metal bands and stuff. I would be in class reading the entire Monster Magnet Wikipedia. I just discovered this band, and now I have to learn everything about them.
That's wild. You're a deep diver.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Are you still like that?
Not so much
Where,
anymore.
you just kind of... I feel like that was the early days of the internet, where you kind of got crazy because you had to dig. You'd have to dig and go find these obscure articles on websites and shit, or blogs. If somebody got to meet them at a show, it was the in between from the old way we did shit to the new way we did shit. There was that crossover for what? It was probably a good 5 years where that was the method.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah, and one thing I would do was when I started interviewing bands and stuff, I don't remember what train of thought we're on right now, but one of my favorite things is I would just ask them questions I was generally curious about. Yeah. So for me, writing music was magic. I didn't understand how it worked. So then I was asking I think it was Bobby Blitz from Overkill. I just asked him how he writes his songs, and he's like, oh man, they just write the riffs and they do this and that, and then I just come up with words for it. And I just remember hearing him say that, and then I was wondering to myself, it's that fucking easy?
It is that easy.
It is that easy.
It is.
And that's the thing with Mammoth Caravan. I shouldn't be able to play and sing at the same time because I'm a novice at it. But because of the way that the riffs are structured.
You just want to, though. Because I was the same way. I wanted to sing and play, and I've been singing and playing pretty much the whole time.
Because I like making noise with my bass, and I like screaming my guts out. And so with Mammoth Caravan, Robert and Evan were like, all right, here's your verse. And so I just sort of, learn how to play the song, learn how to play the riff, and then the words just kind of came. Like with Frostbite, which is the song that most people, it seems to be our most popular release amongst like the Little Rock friends and stuff. I was at Evan's house one day while Robert was visiting family in Cleveland, and Evan just like starts playing that riff, and I started singing "Encased in Ice," and then it's like, and Evan kind of looked at me, and there's, oh shit, we just wrote a song.
I love it when that happens, dude.
And so the fun part is then, like, okay, I know rhythmically how I want to do it with my voice. Then finding those words, finding a little, that's when you get to start digging and reading it. I've been doing it. I didn't know anything about mammoths or the Ice Age or any of that shit. I mean, I knew a fair amount, a basic
they were giant
amount
elephants
before I moved.
Covered in hair.
And then once I'm telling you, like once Robert like was like, once we do the band, it's like, okay, this is what the, he's like, you got your first song, Ice Cold Oblivion. He just
dude,
threw names.
The thematic shtick that y'all have is so much fun.
Cause like I take phrases, like I took like. He gives song titles, and I just write around that, you know. And I just get so I'm like, okay, this song is called Ice Nomad. Well, and I'm just sitting in my car, and then the Icy Nomad, ba 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 ba,
right? And
then I was able to find words to fit into that ba 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 part, you know. And it's really that simple, which is easy. It's easy to say because it's also like extremely difficult, but. It's weird, this process. It feels like a sort of magic having to conjure and, make your words fit the whatever,
Yeah, well, you can say, or you're like, that's a little convoluted. You're like, that's too many conjunctions. Like,
yeah, that sounds a little pretentious
or something. Like, it's like, it is very strange. Being a guy who's had to write lyrics for songs for a long time, it definitely gets strange. But doing the that's actually a good tip. Not a lot of people do that. I didn't really start doing that till later in the game. When you hear something and you kind of just go ha ha ha, like you get the cadence first, it really helps with like, because only so many words are gonna fit in right. So in this beat, I've only got a handful of words I can truly write or break up into syllables. So many syllables are gonna fit in this little junction here. And that definitely helps.
I learned it from Ozzy because he was talking about scratch track because there was something he was talking about stupid shit he was singing in the studio or whatever.
Right, you were like butterfly kisses,
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, that's how it works. So like on the song Ice Cold Oblivion, we've got the chorus. Oh. That was sort of my way of being like, okay, well, is there something here? So I just started singing it during like while we were learning the song. And I discovered there's really no words here, but just singing, like that little, and I do that a lot at karaoke too. Like when I sing Black Sabbath, Iron Man, I'll do woes and stuff along with the solo because it's fun, it's different, But, yeah. So like the songwriting process for Mammoth Caravan is it's so random and like interesting. Like everything just sort of happens, and then. It's one of those things like Evan will teach me a riff and then I'll like sing that riff. And then once I sing it back to him, then I practice it on bass and then boom, we lock it in. And then we just sort of
So it's all kind of happening in the room, real time, live. Yep. Yeah.
And see, we've put so much, like if anybody's like, how are they doing all this? It's because we put the work in. We've practiced. I can count on one hand how many weeks we've gone without having to practice. And sometimes we'll play, when we began, we would play our sets, like we would play it through it 2 or 3 times.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Before that Telekinetic Yeti show, our first one, we played our set like 3 times in like a practice. Then we went and took all our gear to Conway and like we got to practice in this really cool ass room there, and that was our first time hearing it outside of Robert's like room, right? So we got to hear what it sounded like there, and we played our set another 3 times. And
Jesus.
It's funny because I do all the same singing, like when I do the growls and stuff, like I do all of that during this. But one thing I was gonna say, like earlier we were talking about almost passing out. I was surprised at the difference between practice and playing a show, because like I can, I did the set 3 times, like just with no issues. Then you play it the next day and you're like, oh, I'm about to pass out right now.
Yeah, it's so different. What the discombobulation, the lights, the heat, all the things, like all
and
that.
Seeing your friends like that for that especially that first Whitewater show,
nerves.
I was so scared to play in front of my friends because I had been building it up and building up all this hype.
Oh, for sure.
And telling everybody, hey, this is my band and they were doing this. And you know, and trying to convince people we were going to be cool. And then those people showed up trying to see, well, are they cool?
Right.
And then, you know, but it paid off because all those people were like, hey, my friend Jules was like, hey, all your hard work is very clearly paid off.
Right.
And that meant so much to me. You
Right.
know?
Yeah, absolutely.
To know that, like, the work that I'm doing, and really this whole Little Rock thing, dude, like, this whole year has been so validating just because not only did I find my people, I found people like you, I found people like Robert, I found people that love the things that I love, you know? That's been so special because I didn't have that at home. I didn't have anybody. I couldn't, like, if I started talking to Robert right now about the band Nazem, he would know exactly what I'm talking about. Most people don't listen to that stuff, like, where I'm from. So it's been really getting to be around my people.
Right.
You know, it's so special. Like Stan, like, I love Stan. I think he's so cool. And like Evan and like the Termination and Morbid Visions dudes, like what they're doing is like is so special, you know, because they're like with Bitterfest, you know, they're bringing all these cool bands and stuff. And like I find like that thing with Sugar Bog show that they had, like what I called affectionately, I call it Death Metal WrestleMania. That was, to me, that was like Maryland Death Fest for me, you know. It reminded me of like being in Maryland Death Fest, and that is one of my favorites, my happy place, and you know, being in environments where I'm overstimulated, but it's also rewarding because it's like, you know.
Well, you come into a place too where there used to be a thing, and then there wasn't a thing, and now there is a thing. And those guys, too, myself, like a bunch of people, been around for so long, and now they're all out there making moves, doing stuff, bringing things in, trying new ideas,
getting signed, and like
it's
doing
like
all
their
that cool
bands
stuff.
are getting bigger because they've been around for so long, and they've made the moves necessary to, like, you know, get
like
to those
Go
points.
for Gold, like that
It's
was
crazy.
a band I had never heard of Go for Gold before until I moved here. And then Sam, when I was working for Heavy Hits, which like I had fun getting to do those Heavy Hits interviews, and I think that's sort of is how I built my name because I got to talk
Those
to
nice,
people
like,
like
parking
you.
lot interviews.
And like, and because Gavin, you know, I mentioned in the Gara and stuff, Gavin was the one that was filming a lot of that stuff for us. So like basically getting to do all that, I got to make a lot of friends, and it Spencer from Go for Gold, like I just wrote something about his thing, and he commented on Facebook like, who's this Brandon Ringo? I want to give him a shirt. And I was like, and so because my 5 favorite Little Rock bands: Go for Gold, Tiny Towns, Morbid Visions, Second Life, and the rest of it's kind of a toss up.
Sure.
But like those are the bands that have become most important. And I hadn't heard of any of those bands until I moved here. But now that I've been here and experienced them, you know, they're all different and unique and fun.
Different,
in their own way.
unique. They all go hard in the paint. You know, that's what's wild about here too. This every couple shows I've played, past few actually, were the Toy Drive show. Who was the Faustian? I've said it a couple times. Dude, they were like, is it y'all are the energy level here is insane. I was like, this is every time. This is kind of just like our thing here.
They told us that was the best night of their entire tour.
I believe it. I mean, that night was just fucking special and cool.
Yeah.
And everyone there was just having a great time. And dude, 100% without coming off the heels of a big fest, that would have been a sellout for sure. Oh, yeah. Like the amount of people that showed up.
I was so impressed and happy and grateful
on a
for
Sunday,
like the amount of people. After Banging in the Rock, because like a lot of people were sore and they were hurting.
just so
and
much,
they still
dude.
came out, and that's why I love this fucking town so much, dude. Because people would care, you know. People like
people would.
Even the
send
people
toys
that
with
don't,
people.
even the people that like my friend Zach's mom brought a bunch of toys and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and Faustian brought a bunch of toys. That was such a beautiful experience.
And we ended up, it was over $2,000 worth of toys.
That's
and
sick.
then $180 at the door, which meant they were taking $10 donations at the door.
Yeah.
So they told me that like between the beginning of it and the end, there was possibly like 200 people there.
It was definitely a revolving door night. So like you got to think like there was like a 50 constant, but it was always different people.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh hey, yeah, you're here. Oh shit, but you never really played in front of more people. It was kind of the same size crowd all night. It's like a revolving door night. Man, people were tired, bro. That weekend was insane. And they're just coming in, like making a thing. Here's the toy, because dude, the table was fucking
packed.
That was amazing.
Dude, getting to take those toys to the Arkansas Children's
You got to go?
Hospital. Yeah, I got to go with Robert to take them, and Evan was with us, and it was so. it was a very surreal moment.
Sure.
It was very surreal. It was very, because I'd never seen the Children's Hospital, and but I drive by it every day after work, and knowing what I've learned a lot about that building and stuff, and I have a lot more respect and reverence for it. And so to know that we're doing something to make a difference, like there's this Ken Mode song. It's like, when's the last time you did something that mattered? And I think for me that felt like something that matters. You know what I mean?
Matters for sure. Oh, dude, I cried all about it on one of the Patreon episodes. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I was just like, oh my God, it's not about, doing it for the, I want to be acknowledged for doing something nice. It's just like, you do the toy drive, and then you, it's kind of neat to see the payoff. Like when y'all, who posted the photo, outside of the thing with, all the big bags and shit? That was sick. I was like, damn, dude. Yeah. That is so much stuff. And from seemingly not a lot of people, but it was a lot of people apparently.
Yeah, it was a great crowd. I'm always kind of shocked at how many people it's always interesting. Since I've come here, because see, when I would originally come here, Vino's shows were always mega packed. But then again, I was coming for bands like Living Side. It was you're
coming for the bigger events.
Yeah, you're coming for. Of course, it'd be sold out for Lamb of God.
Yeah.
But
which that was quite some time ago, man. You were coming here for a while,
dude. That was no, that wasn't my. Maybe that was my first show here. If that wasn't my first show here, it was Under Oath, I think. Me and some friends came up. And it's only a 3-hour drive, so we were just like, fuck it.
Yeah, and then not far.
I would come to Little Rock for vacations, because I've seen, I would, especially, I would go to Alltel, Verizon, Simmons Bank, whatever.com arena. I've seen Steely Dan there. I've seen Metallica there twice.
Sure.
So I would. One piece of advice I would give anybody that's talking about wanting to move is go somewhere that you would go for vacation, because it's getting to drive. When I lived in North Little Rock, now I live in Cabot, which I'm not going to talk about Cabot. Yeah. But when I lived in North Little Rock and I drove by, it was so surreal for me every day to drive past the place where I saw Metallica and go to work. Was so. I know that may sound weird, but I'm every time I drive by there, I'm I watch my favorite bands in the world here, like Steely Dan and Metallica specifically.
Right. I was at those shows. We've been in a lot of the same shows, dude.
I can imagine we have. That's so cool.
Even those early ones you're talking about, there's no way I wasn't in the room. We probably walked by each other 1,000 times.
There's a guy that we met him that I saw in Memphis last night. Okay, so I had met him when Severe Headwind played with Obituary at Growlers in November. Me and Robert went to go hang out, and we knew we were going to be playing in Memphis, so we just made our own flyers. The promoter was like, "Do you want to make your own flyers?" We're like, "Yeah, please, can we?" Just so people know we're coming. I handed one to this dude. That's a foreign concept to them. I met a dude. Well, I think it's just specifically because we were coming from out of town, and we're it was very,
fair,
very zealous about we want to promote this shit. So I met this guy who was also at Maryland Death Fest the year that I was, and I'm pretty sure I was standing close to him based on the description of his experience. And so to be all the way in Baltimore, Maryland, and then me being from Louisiana, and then I meet him in Memphis, Tennessee, and I gave him a flyer. He came to our show last night wearing he was wearing a Memphis Grizzlies 3-6 Mafia tribute hat, and he pre-ordered one of our records, and he came because I gave him a flyer at the Obituary show. That's why I do this shit, Corey.
That's awesome, dude.
That's why I do this, because those moments, those experiences are so special to me.
So sick.
It's so much fun.
It's crazy to hear you describe Little Rock that way too, because for us, it's just like home. It's
and
that's just where you go to do stuff. We didn't vacation here to see anything.
And so now, getting to it still feels there. Not so much, maybe. Well, now I guess even more so. It feels like a vacation because, living in Cabot, that 30-minute drive, getting to go to shows and stuff at Vino's, on my off days.
Right.
It feels like it feels.
Well, yeah, because it's two very different spots. Cabot feels like an old town. Been there a while, which it has. It's just bigger than it should be because it's underdeveloped.
It's for me. It's not even the town. It's just the distance. But it was one of those things where I needed, I needed somewhere to live, and it opened up. And actually, I think I started moving in there in September or whatever. And,
so you just moved there,
and it's helped stay focused because instead of going out so much and like stuff, I've been having to really since our Area 51 show, a lot of weird things have been going on like my personal life or whatever.
Sure.
So I had to do a lot of introspectiveness, and so it's made the Mammoth Caravan thing even more important because I locked into it and I learned like, okay, I'm only going to get out of this what I put into it, and so I decided to put everything I had into it.
Absolutely.
And like, so one thing I'm excited about is what we get to do this year. Like, because we've planned this like weird schedule. I want to talk about this before I forget.
Sure, go for it.
So we're playing Shreveport in February. I have a special announcement. We're playing we're doing our album comes out February 25th. We are doing a show at Whitewater Tavern for our record release March 18th, and it's with Bongzilla and Deadbird. And I am like Bongzilla is a band that like I used to listen to all the time, and like they're iconic stoner metal band.
Yes.
Deadbird was a band I've been obsessed with since well before I even like knew I was gonna even have anything to do with this town. You know what I mean? Like when I got into Wake and stuff, Deadbird was the next band I got into. So to play with them is really cool.
Yeah.
To be acknowledged by them as their peers, you know, like because Chuck, he was at our Spirit Drift show and he just had such nice things. And for me, like to him, just saying kind words, me just saying like, "Hey, good job," you know, it felt like a bomb in the chest. Like the fact that this dude who I respect so much is saying these nice things about us, that was very weird to me.
It's wild, isn't it? It's wild when you become a part of the fold you admire.
Yeah. And like, well, see, for me, the whole CT thing, getting to like, you know, have the fact that we're like getting to be friends with him and getting to like do shows and stuff for him is really weird because like I used to listen to Wake. Like it's some really bad moments in my life, and like I just needed heavy metal, and I would listen to it, and it just got me through a really tough time, you know, and it made me feel feelings and shit. Like heavy metal that makes you like feel shit, you know. And so getting to be friends with them, and the one band that I haven't gotten to meet that I wish I could become friends with here is Living Sacrifice.
They're around. They're old.
I'm hoping I can catch it, but I just want to talk to Rocky. I did an interview with Rocky actually one time because his band came to Monroe, and I was like, I'm jumping on that shit.
Sure.
But yeah, so shout out Living Sacrifice. If you see this, please talk to me.
He's doing a lot of horror stuff now, Rocky.
Yeah, isn't that neat? Those movies are awesome.
They are very cool. I want to have him on. He said yes, but that was pre-pandemic. And like we had it all set up and everything, and then it just fucking went, shoo, see ya, bitch. Yeah,
I think a Mammoth Caravan Living Sacrifice show. I would probably.
I'd watch that shit. I'm a huge fan of Living Sacrifice, so
I would probably cry a lot because
they're one of the first bands I found. I've told the story before, but like I went to high school with his nephew, and we were best buddies playing in bands together. And he was like, "You gotta listen to this stuff, man." And fucking, it was from then on out.
So for me, Living Sacrifice is interesting because my dad. Okay, so this friend of mine brought me some CDs. He lived up the road, and he came at a weird time of night and knocked on the door, and my dad was like really weirded out, and he gave me these CDs case, and it had Master P and Lil Wayne and DMX and like Limp Bizkit and all this stuff in it, right? Like all this edgy music, and my dad was like, no, absolutely not. He took all my like secular CDs away. He's like, you can only listen to Christian music and stuff.
You was raising the.
So I was like, okay. Well, let's see if there's any Christian music that sounds like heavy metal. So I literally Googled Christian bands that sound like Metallica, and Living Sacrifice was the first one.
Especially then.
And then I listened to but see, I made a mistake. I listened to the stuff that sounded like Slayer and Obituary, but I did never listen to Slayer or Obituary, so I didn't get it yet. And so I'm like, what the fuck is this? But then I heard the hammering process, and then it's like,
yeah.
You know, and so then that led me to discovering like Zao and Project 86, and then eventually my dad came around and he like heard listen to Linkin Park, and he was like, wait, this is cool, and he's, you know what, you can have your CDs back.
Did you ever see Zao live?
Yeah, I saw him in Little Rock actually.
Okay.
It was
I was definitely there.
It was
I never missed a Zao show.
What was it? The Funeral of God. It was they did the Ferret tour with them and Misery Signals and. I think it was, I don't know, maybe, no, I saw that tour in Shreveport, my bad. Did they play here with Dillinger? I think it may have been
They
Zayo
played
and
here
Dillinger.
so many fucking times.
The one I'm thinking of, like one in Vino's around the time of the funeral of
Always
God. It was them
Vino's,
and
always,
Dillinger.
yeah.
God, like
did,
I got to talk to Dan like at while I was standing at the bar. It was so weird, you know.
Dude, they were unbelievable. Their live show is unbelievable.
Yeah. They're so awesome. They're so special.
They would do that Back in Black cover. Did you ever see them do that?
No.
You've never seen kids go just ape shit to
AC/DC.
Yes.
That's awesome.
They were oh man, they were something special. I don't know what it's like now. I haven't seen them since they've been like back. Like they're sort of back.
Their newest records are really cool.
It's good. I like it. It's Zayo.
Yeah, it's Zayo. You know what I mean? It's heavy as shit. Like at this point, there's really not much you can expect from them.
Right.
You know, just be heavy.
It's kind of one of those things where they've made it all the early stuff, and now they're just kind of making records still. Like I would like to see them live now as like older dudes.
Man, I would like to hear him play. Like, I wish I could go back. I feel like you ever go to watch a band and you feel like you didn't pay close enough attention to them, and then you're like, I got to see him again. That's how I feel. I wish I could go back in time to see Zayo play like the Funeral of God again. Like, I feel like I would be hate moshing. Like 2023, Brandon, back like I would be hate moshing to the Funeral of God.
2003, 2004. Just pulling people apart.
Yeah.
100%, dude. Just fucking, just grabbing people, palming them by the head, eating them like snacks.
Wrestling finish.
Just backbreakers.
Issuing RKOs in the pit.
Dan just up there like,
Dear Tiffany.
Yeah.
Stone Cold Stunner.
Dude, that song, 5 Year Winter, that shit went off so hard.
Burn it down and walk away.
I've seen the wildest pits and Vinos to that. When it comes,
God,
and you know it's coming. And they always did it last for like the most part here. You know it's coming, and then they do the little shin, and just everything in the room starts moving as if you're in like the room just started vibrating.
Well, see, and that's how it felt when y'all played Memphis Will Be Laid to Waste at the Toy Drive show. That's how.
Still hurts.
Yeah, like that. Man, I'm telling you,
Like I knew we'd have fun doing it, but
that vibe was like it got a little scurry.
Shout out
I'm not.
You know what's fucking funny, dude? I took every precaution because I was like, things could pop off at the end here. Let me push this all the way up against the wall. Like, let me take every precaution. And you know what? I went back and watched it. What's really good is it's right at the slowdown. It just goes, whoa. It's like, motherfucker.
I feel like I really want to see Norma Jean again. That's a band that I saw him one time. And it was at some cool like festival or whatever. I want to see Norma Jean again in Little Rock. That's why I was really looking forward to the one that they're supposed to play here. Because like
Just say good luck, man. It's hard to get them here. Even though they're from here.
These dudes are so cool.
It's weird that they don't play here more. But you know.
It's weird that Paul Bearer doesn't play here. No,
But neither does Sacrifice or any of those other bands. It's like,
but my goal. So the one thing, and I'm saying this for whoever to see here, I want to play a show, even if it's me just playing one man acoustic music. I want to play a show with Paul Bearer so bad. That's like my one now. Like based on our plans for like next, that's like the one thing I want the most is I want to play. I want to play at the Hall, and I want to play with Paul Bearer.
So remember when it was like. I love how goals start like smaller. You're like, I just want to play in this room, and you play in that room. And you're like,
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. What
can I do next?
Yeah.
Right on up.
Yeah.
What? 6 months ago, we were like, our goal is, can we just have a friend ask us to play a show?
That's it.
Yeah,
I want
we
to play
wanted
Mark's
to be-
basement.
I mean, we just would take anything, you know what I mean? Like, we played that Area 51 show. It was so much fun. Like, we just did it because it was like, well, yeah, I mean, we might as well.
You kind of just taking what you can get in the beginning, too. You're just like, fuck it. Yeah, it's a show. Do it.
And now I think, so the one thing that I think we learned is, like, okay, after getting back from Memphis, there's no way. I feel like if we had to go to New Orleans the next day, had to go to like wherever, like I feel like I would be a wreck if I had to go like do like long tours. So getting to go like be in Little Rock and then you drive like 3-4 hours, 2-3 hours or whatever, play a show and then you come back home is
weekends, man.
really
Weekend
nice.
runs are the top. top notch. Especially
and I think that's what a lot of bands are sort of aspiring to, like, is sort of be able to get to that point, which is, and it's cool.
I think you're seeing even bigger bands do it, man. That's why they're only playing festivals. Like that's our version of weekend runs at their level. They're like, fuck it, man. I made $100,000 in one day, and all I had to do was show up.
You get to play to an ocean of people, and then fucking hang out
for the rest of the year. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, of course. But same thing with here. It's like 1-2. Little Rock, Memphis, home. Little Rock, or Fayetteville, Tulsa, home. Keeping just that little circle, and then eventually you build enough, then you can go Tulsa, Oklahoma City. You don't even have to touch Arkansas. Then then Memphis, Nashville. And you just keep building the circle out, and it's still only a weekend, but you just keep.
Yeah. And that's what I really want to do, is be able to go play in other places and like become kind of like a band that's known like around like the region would be really cool. Like to be able to play shows in Texas.
Well, what's like a doom region? I feel like Dallas.
So for me, the doom capital of like, in the one place that I really want to play doom metal is New Orleans, because
really,
I hate God, Crowbar, Acid Bath, fucking,
fair enough.
You know what I mean? Corrosion and Conformity, like those bands to me are all really special. Like Down, it's ironic to me though, being from Louisiana, I've seen Down twice, and both times were in Little Rock.
I worked one of them.
Which one?
The one where it was actually pretty lame. I don't know how it looked from your perspective, but from our perspective, he was being a major fucking dick.
Like, what venue is it?
The Village.
That was the one I was at. Dude, I had so much fun at that
Good,
show.
I'm glad you did.
Well, see, at Phil and Selma, like, I got a pick from Kirk, and I got one from Rex, and Phil shook my hand. God, that was fucking awesome.
Good. Because on our end, it was a fucking nightmare. Well, because he was worried about getting murdered. He was worried about getting killed.
Why?
Well, because he had death threats on it. Everyone blamed him for Pantera and dying and all that stuff.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
How did I not know about this?
So, did you not notice whenever he would turn around, someone would be in front of him?
I mean, yeah.
That was on purpose.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
And
we had to deal with that behind the scenes.
Wait, so you worked at the Village?
Oh, the whole time. I missed the opening show, and I was at the very second show, which was Radio Rebellion, was like Norma Jean and all that. Oh, and then I worked until we closed the doors. So
did you work the Queens of the Stone Age?
I was out of town.
Oh, man. That was one of my
I missed like 5 shows, dude, and 5 of the biggest shows are the ones I missed.
Dude, Queens was fucking incredible.
Like Atreyu. I missed that. I was at my wife's mom's funeral.
Atreyu played at the Village?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. During the Queens of the Stone Age show, some dude got on stage, and I don't remember exactly what they did. I think he just patted Josh Homme on the back, and I think Josh was so pissed. He kicked the dude in the ass and like shoved him towards the security guard or whatever.
Fuck Queens of the Stone Age.
He didn't fuck Queens of the Stone Age, but like...
Fuck Queens of the Stone Age.
Is that a new band?
Yeah.
Fuck Queens of the Stone Age.
Fuck Queens of the Stone Age.
Hey, don't fuck around. It might be.
Well, and I wanted to interview the dude, and then he kicked a fucking photographer's camera, and it's like, you know what? Never mind. Kicked in the face.
Oh shit.
Unnecessary. That was like unnecessary, and like even like my editor was like, I mentioned it, and they're like, yeah, I don't want. I'm like, yeah, I don't want either.
I've got plenty of those stories, dude. Peeking behind the curtain's a real motherfucker.
It is.
Yeah.
It's so weird
because you learn who's who and what's what and how they actually are, and it's like, oh fuck, so many of these people are trash.
Yeah.
But it's not surprising. But also, like, their job stinks. Like, that job stinks.
Yeah.
Like, to be that famous is not always shits and giggles.
It's overwhelming, dude.
It's
like,
overwhelming.
I can't even, like, take it when, like, 4 people are telling me good job after a Vino show. It gets, like, even a bit much. I'm
right,
like,
and you're you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You're real nervous. Thank you so much. But, like, I don't know what else to say. Like, because, you know... So yeah, to be
I just started going like
to be that famous where like everybody knows who you are. I think it would give me aneurysm.
Oh, for sure. Well, it's gonna make you different, man. There's no way it doesn't. Even before like the internet and shit, when they were just that has to be unbelievable. When it's just constant bombardment. That's why a lot of these guys they just hire someone to do it. I don't blame them at all. They're like, yeah, you're not talking to a real person. I was like, fuck. Imagine if you were. They'd fucking hang themselves from the goddamn ceiling fan, man. Like, there's no way you want to just be this all like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't, sometimes you get it. You're like, man, fucking, I would hate, like, as cool as it would be, it would equal parts awesome to, like, wow, this is shit.
my aspiration to fame is it kind of changed as far as what I wanted. I talked to Nate Garrett at that Spirited Drift show, and he told me the sweetest advice. He was like, because I said, at your level, what does it feel like? What, like, is it weird? He's like, dude, the thing I learned is you have to be grateful for everything you have.
Sure.
Like, so he's like, you can't worry about what you don't have. So like, you can't worry about what we don't have this. We don't, like you didn't get in this magazine.
Why didn't we get to play this fest?
Why didn't we get this show? Like, why does this band get to play the show and we don't? And all that
offer.
Nate, sort of was. I learned, instead of worrying about those things, be grateful. You know what I mean? Be grateful that this dude in Memphis took a chance on a fucking doom band he's never heard of and let us come play. And he was his name was Josh Denner. He's such a cool dude.
What a great weekend for y'all. Yeah. Metal Injection and the High Tone. Like
the same, like literally.
Sick.
We'll see and another fun thing, another experience is when as we were shooting that video, literally.
Oh, in the video, yeah. Fuck.
As we were doing that video, Frostbite had just gotten. We released that single because I dropped it on my birthday, and then our PR people they put it out a couple 3 days later. They sent out a press blast for it, telling people, "Hey, this thing is on," and It was cool. As we're doing this one thing, other things are happening. As we're coming home from Memphis, that we realized, oh wait, we were in Metal Injection 3 days ago and we didn't fucking know about it.
The internet's fucking wild, dude.
And it's just, all those and so all I care about with this, I'm just gonna try to have as many of those insane moments as possible, and just love them and cherish them as much as I can.
The moments is the best part. Yeah. I agree with that 100%.
Life sucks once you go back. Okay, so this has been a great weekend. I have to go back to my regular work life,
sure.
work schedule next week.
Bro,
I'm dreading
having tomorrow to go do the worst job ever.
Right. So,
I don't want to fucking do that.
So that's when it's one of those things. I was talking to Robert about the things that you can take with you, and you can take those cool moments, those fun, getting to just getting kind words from people that have no reason to give you kind words, is special to me. So, as part of the Mammoth Caravan thing, so we're doing the Bongzilla show. Then we get to go play a festival in Missouri, in Cape Girardeau. It's going to be really cool.
Love Missouri.
It's
Missouri's low-key fucking rad, dude.
I've never even been to Missouri.
It's just chill as fuck.
Really?
The whole thing, every time I've ever been there, I've never had a bad experience in Missouri, ever.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I've heard some bands have weird experiences there.
We played 2 shows and both were awesome, but both were one of the towns we played in, the fucking street was cobblestone.
Oh, wow.
It was that goddamn old. And we slept in the venue that night because the venue owner was that rad. We played on a fucking strip where at the end of the strip, it was old school, like 1950s. The movie theater was the end of the road.
Wow.
Everyone in town would just walk to the end of the road to go to the movie. The marquee was still one of those big vertical, hey, look at me marquees.
Uh-huh.
And we woke up the next morning and there was a fucking Wizard of Oz parade. And by Wizard of Oz parade, I mean the big orange fucking tractor had the word Wizard of Oz written on it, and a few children in garb, Halloween costumes.
That sounds horrifying.
No, it was actually really cool. I was outside smoking, and I just heard this music. I was like, what the fuck? And you just see it, and I see... So... When we came out, it looked like the road was under construction because we parked in the alleyway out back, so I never saw the front, right? So we're I'm outside and I'm just I'm so just fuck. It's the last 2 days of tour, so I'm so burned out, and I'm just what in the fuck? And I look down to my left and I see, how when they do culvert work, they'll put that orange net up and it's a square. I saw that, but the inside of that was a PA system and not work equipment. I was like, what the fuck is happening? And then I hear shit start. And then from around this building, down the road, this fucking tractor comes creeping around the thing. And people are just kind of outside. And I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? And then it starts and they're just throwing candy and shit. And I reach down and grab a Tootsie Roll. And my bass player comes out. He goes, what the fuck? I was like, apparently there's a parade going on, man.
That sounds so exciting.
It was so random.
That is so cool. And that's the type of stuff I think that this...
Kennett, Missouri.
Kennett, Missouri, where's that at?
I don't know. The GPS died and we guessed our way there, man. We got
Really?
Yeah. We had a map, like a physical map, but we were
MapQuest?
Oh,
No.
Shout
We
out
had
to MapQuest.
like the GPS, but it was one of those big fucking things. And if you lost the signal, it was just you're just out here now. Fucking see ya. There was no download options at the time.
Missouri is
And-
literally on the border of Arkansas.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so
It's like northeast.
it was like just this random. We drove through cornfields and shit because we were coming up. So we went in like a circle. You know, we went down to Austin and came around and went through Mississippi up into Tennessee, and then from Tennessee like over and down. That was kind of like the legs, like joop 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 joop. It was very strange pattern, but that was the last two was in Kennett, and then the last place I don't even remember what the name of the town was, but the venue was called the Zoo. And they had like the whole thing was made out of shag carpeting. It was the weirdest thing. It's not there anymore, I don't think, but it was fun. But all that was in Missouri, and it was fun as shit.
And so ours is it's not actually taking place, from what I can recall, at a real venue. I think it's like a pop-up thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm really
Like a
excited.
trailer
We're
bed.
supposed to be there with the band Fister and our friend Sleuthfoot from Jonesboro.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really cool. And then we get to go to Houston, which is terrifying because that's of everything we've scheduled. The Houston's going to be our longest. We're playing this festival down there at the beginning of May, at this cool place called the Black Magic Social Club. They have fucking skulls on the wall, like these really cool looking skulls, like look like they're popping out of the wall. And they have like this big
Where's
red
this at?
pennant. It's in Houston, and it's like a 150 cap club. And like we're going to be playing a festival there, and I'm really excited about it because like there's a lot of cool doom bands and stuff. And
I feel like y'all are going to hit that algorithm, like that live show algorithm, and y'all are just going to be popping in festivals like soon. It's already happening clearly, but
and you know it's coming. It's taking a lot of work. But see, one thing that's really odd to me is I keep seeing these festivals and I'm like, damn, I wish I could play that. Damn, I wish I could play that. My goal is to get to the point where people are asking us like, hey, would you guys like to come? I don't even know if it's realistic to expect that, but I would love to get to just be at a point where we work normal jobs and then we get asked to go play
at least a handful. It happens.
Like there's just one happening in Arizona. Corey, I want to do it so bad, and I probably could pull it off if I really tried.
When is it?
It's the week before our record release.
Do
So it wouldn't be feasible, but it's called Planet Mammoth Festival. It's got all these cool doom bands.
I mean,
But it's like in Phoenix, and it's
Phoenix is rad, dude. I was just there.
how far away is that? It's
Fucking far, right? It's a drive.
See, because
It's
the
probably
one
like
thing
18.
the one thing that
I
we
bet it's
deal
12
with.
hours.
One issue we have the most is I only have so many days that I can take off. So planning around that this year is
Tough.
a nightmare.
I could see that
It's
because y'all are doing a lot.
fucking nightmare, dude. But so
but
we have to be very. I'm hoping for just little serendipitous things. A little, hey, we're doing this thing X plenty of time and out. You guys want to come do it? Yes, let's go. Kind of things, and then hopefully when I get more time off in 2024,
Just personal time off.
yes. Hopefully,
Okay,
when I get
so-
more days off, we can do some real wild stuff.
We'll just break one of your toes, and you can take a medical day. But we got to do it that morning before y'all leave. Y'all book the show, get everything ready.
I'm just
So
gonna have
19th,
a lot of cases of
and just
explosive
that morning,
diarrhea.
yeah. We're just gonna fucking feed you a fucking brick of diluted cheese filled with
Balls, I can't
X-Lax.
come in. I could poop through a screen door right now. It sounds like piss coming from the back. I don't know if I can do this.
What the
the risks you gotta take for heavy metal, bro.
Yeah, how do you know you're from the South? You just said shit through a screen door. What the fuck?
Hey, we were talking about okay, so if we play this festival, maybe he could use a sick day for this. And we were like, well, what would he say for about seeing a sick day? Be like, well, man, I ate some shit in Houston, and my stomach's all fucked up. I got food poisoning. And stuff. Getting around it somehow.
You got to make friends with a doctor, man.
Can you get another drink, please?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Modelo time.
Thank you.
Modelo, I got.
Limonado time.
Limonado time.
No, we're out of Modelo's. This is the last one.
I think we're out of beer.
No, we got 3 more. Gotta go get some beer after this, because we got another one of these to do.
Hell yeah.
Oh, a water drinker. Looks like those beers are for me. I'll be good and liquored up. Bottle. We did it. Who?
Josh Ray.
Josh. Yeah, Josh. Oh, and Vino's. God. Silent Planet. What's his fucking name? Garrett. God
Yeah,
dang.
Garrett.
Water bottle man.
Yeah, that was a really cool episode y'all did there. How did y'all do this setup? Like, maybe this is.
It's
right
literally
form for
this,
Mm-hmm.
and we had just fucking this thing and the like 2 handhelds with like some boom stands I have for like recording guitars and shit, and that laptop.
Really?
We
You just
do-
brought it to Vina's and set it up on the back porch?
Yeah. So what's crazy is he was sick as fuck. That man that literally had like double lung pneumonia and had just got diagnosed, and we were like, we set up for an hour, and we were like, man, like it doesn't seem like he's probably gonna be able to do it because we had heard nothing. So we packed up everything, stood up, had everything in my bag, turned around, and there he is.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, fuck. And Kurt's just like, yep. And we do, like, we're just not even talking, dude. We're just like, oh yeah, no, well, hey, we're gonna set up. Like,
Let's
he had
do
no
this.
idea we had just packed it all up. We're just like acting like we just hadn't packed everything up. No, it's good, man. It only takes a second. Da, 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 da. We're just shucking and jiving, dude. Just pew, 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 pew. Sat down, did the whole thing, and it was fucking awesome. The only regret is I put gum in my mouth before we started because we were leaving. I was just chewing gum because we were killing time, and I just didn't spit it out. So that's like the one thing that I was like, fuck. But once I noticed it, if you can go back and look too, though, once I noticed I was chewing gum, which is about halfway fucking through because I'm oblivious to shit, you can see me start tucking it in my lip. I'm like, oh yeah. Just so it'll disappear. Like, fucked up. God damn it. Like, you don't eat, you don't chew gum. And water bottles, plastic water bottles.
Yeah, I hate all of those noises.
That's like the 3 podcast no-nos. Like, and all of them happen on that one, yeah.
Oh,
Like,
really?
the visual aspect of it is fine, but this is an audio, for the most part, the bigger amount of views you get are still from the audio only. But so, like, as far as, like, in your ear, it's just like, oh, it just, like, it sucks because you don't see it, so your brain doesn't register the same, especially like the crinkling and the sharp pingy noises. They just hit your eardrum and you're like, God.
I have this thing called misophonia. So, like,
What is it?
it's called misophonia. And
Miso?
MISOPHONIA.
Okay.
And it's like a sensitivity to sounds. It happens a lot when I get really anxious. But like for instance, if like Kurt was over there eating like a bag of fucking chips right now, like the crinkling of that bag and the crunching of
Those
the chips,
high-pitched
I would
tings.
want to put a screwdriver in my eyeballs because like that, it's just like, ugh. It sucks. Like listening to people eat is the worst.
Oh, that fucking mastication, that fucking sound. Like that.
No, I am not, and I refuse to listen
Mukbangs
to
can
any of
fuck
that
off.
shit.
I don't like that stuff.
Like the
I might have
smacking?
whatever you just said.
I hate
that
that
shit is
sound.
insane. How is anyone liking that? You want to hear me eat? But I was raised like, shut your fucking mouth, man. Like, eat your food. Not everybody wants to listen to you eat this shit.
My mom is the sweetest angel in the world, and she would lose her shit if I was smacking my food.
Shout out your mom. Is she still with us?
Yes, she
Okay,
is.
good.
She's an angel. I actually got to see her last summer. I hadn't
She's
seen
still
her.
in Monroe?
No, dude, she lives in Florida.
Florida? Where?
In what town called West Palm Beach.
Okay, cool.
So we moved. Like I moved there
So
with
you gotta
her.
get Mammoth Caravan down in West Palm Beach is
I
all.
want to play down there.
Play
so
the
bad.
fucking nursing home or something.
Dude, I want to play Florida really bad.
It's hard to get in Florida.
It is.
They got like damn.
But see them like this grindcore band we played with last night, Moisturizer. They played like 3 shows there. So I'm like, okay, if a grindcore band from Rhode Island, like shout out Moisturizer, they're fucking amazing.
That's a
But
fucking
I'm like,
great
okay,
band name.
I feel like if they can book a show there, like surely like there's some dude. Well, because Torch and Floor are both from South Florida, and John Judkins from Wake. Shout out
Your
John
recall
Judkins.
ability is unfucking real, dude. I just need you. I need you to come on the crew and just be my fact checker guy. Like, no, yeah, that's it. It was in 2005. It was here, and it's just all off the top of your brain. That's
see,
crazy.
all those things are important to me. All those
for
things
sure.
are important to me. You know what I mean?
No, I
Like
do.
geographical locations of bands. Like for some reason, that's always like because if you were to say, "Hey, you should check out this band called like Sonya or something," I'd be like, "Oh, where are they from?" Well, I don't know. What does it matter? I don't know. It matters.
I need it to Salt Lake City, Utah.
I need
Who
to
gives
know
a
they're
shit?
from Kennesaw, Georgia. Or whatever.
right. Wouldn't that be some shit?
I just made up a city name on the spot. I should didn't make it up. It's a real city, but yeah. Anyways,
They're from Transylvania,
Ypsilanti, Michigan.
Ypsilanti. From
That's a
Ting
real
Ting,
town.
Wisconsin. Oh, Ting Ting, huh?
Poor little Tink Tink.
Tink Tink, yeah. Poor little Tink Tink.
Poor little Tink Tink.
Poor little Tink
Bald
Tink.
Knob, Arkansas. God, what
That's a real
weird-
spot.
Arkansas has so many weird city names.
They all do though. Like the small town, like there's Wienerville, Texas. Like,
Toadsuck. Oh, damn. Shout out Toadsuck days.
just imagine a bunch of dudes in boats, like the people who were naming all the shit as they were just walking through. Like, man, we're out of names. He just looks down. There's a toad like sucking on a fucking beetle or something.
Well, man, you think about it. Like, the town is literally named because the dude was like, hey, look at this little rock. Oh, shit.
Oh, it's a port.
And someone was like, damn, this motherfucker's spitting.
Was I don't know why it's called Little Rock. I don't have no idea.
It's because of Le Petit Roche. It's like a marker, and this dude saw this rock like when he was discovering it.
Okay.
I only learned this recently.
Down there at the riverfront, I'm sure the explanation is right down there on one of those plaques. Yeah.
He discovered, he's like, hey, this is a cool rock. I'm gonna call this Little Rock, and like this is how we're gonna know
It was
what
turned
this
into a
area
port. Yeah,
is.
it turned into. That's how like all big cities on rivers, they're just port towns, and then they just weren't. Then they're just big cities.
Yeah,
That's why they're all near big ass rivers and shit. Yeah.
I love rivers. I think that's like
You an outdoorsy guy?
kind of.
Sort of. I mean,
I'm
from Monroe. There's
I'm
got to be some
fat and
outdoorsy
sweaty.
shit.
Like
Same.
so, I like if I've yet to been able to even. I went to Pinnacle Mountain, and all I did is sit in the parking lot and listen to old school death metal and just sort of soak it in. I still haven't gone up it yet, but I would like to. I love hiking. I
Do
love
the front side first. That back side's a real bitch. Just sheer rock faces and shit.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
terrifying.
it's not a good first one. You don't want to do that one first.
I do like the outdoors. I like there was this park called Corolli Park in West Monroe, and I would go there, walk there like once a day, and I would just listen to music and like meditate and just sort of get my head in the game. And then I'd go out that night and go scream at people at karaoke. It puts me in like that weird. I like that the calm before the stormy kind of thing.
Sure.
And like being in nature is cool. And like with Arkansas, like there's a lot of it's just so beautiful. Like even like random like places, like even in Cabot, like there's just some truly gorgeous spots. Like there's a
absolutely.
duck
It's, like,
pond there
everywhere.
that's just
Dude, even in downtown Little Rock, there's like just nature spots. You just crawl up in, you're like, holy fuck, it's a little forest in here. This is crazy.
yeah.
It is wild.
It's so beautiful. I like that. And I like that it feels like a big city, but it also kind of feels like you're in the country.
Yeah.
Cause like you're sitting there here like seeing the skyscrapers and you hear some guy like
that's like-
talking like pure cornbread on the fucking phone.
Yeah. Literally cornbread in his veins. This man, gravy veins. Oh, gravy veins. But it's that way across the whole. It's like we had a set designer come in and go, this state's going to be like this. Because even in Fayetteville, dude, just be like, you just be in this town and then just boom, you're just in. There's just some woods nearby.
I've only been to Fayetteville one time, and
Fayetteville's
it was
fun as shit.
to see. I went to saw Sonic Youth there. Me and my friend Paul drove
Sonic
like
Youth. God
5
damn, was that like a college show?
Yeah, it was like the Dixon Street Music Festival. It was
Okay.
like it was Michael Franti and Spearhead.
Hey, I worked with Michael Franti. Yo, that man's a saint. That is
awesome.
a wild ass dude, man.
His live show is nuts.
What was it? All lamps?
No, it was just this big like weird festival he like set up.
Dude, when we did it, his whole entire light show was lamps.
Really?
The village. Did you go? You went to the village, right?
Yeah.
You saw some shows there. That whole stage, the whole back of it was just different lamps they found at like antique stores and shit.
That's awesome.
It was brilliant, and they were just blinking off and on and shit. And they had it like set up to where they could, like where they could like move them in waves and stuff.
I have beef with Michael Franti because they started that late, and so Sonic Youth had to cut a couple of songs out of their set. I was really mad because like I'm really obsessed with Sonic Youth.
He will just wander off. He probably legit was just missing.
Probably.
I almost bet money because same shit happened where we were. He's like, oh yeah, man, I just caught a taxi and went and saw a movie, dude. And he's like, he doesn't wear shoes and shit. He's like the nicest person, so you can't even be mad at him.
Right, you can't
like,
even be mad. You're like, I am entertained right now, but I would rather be entertained by Thurston Moore and his extremely loud guitar.
Instead of, hey, you're going.
Right. Yeah. And dude, like Sonic Youth was so it was worth it. It was so much fun. We didn't realize that it was like a 5-hour drive. So we drove, it's almost like a 6-hour drive from Monroe to Fayetteville.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because it's like 3.5 or 3 or so to here.
And then another 3.
So, yeah. So we didn't even have a hotel. Finally, my dad was like, bro, so like you're driving back tonight? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I don't know if I want you doing that. I'm going to get you a hotel. But see, this was before cell phone. Wait. It was before I had like maps and shit on my phone. So then I had to like call the hotel and get this dude to tell me directions while I'm like frantically freaking out trying to find this place because I'm tired. I'm exhausted, like physically like exhausted for being out.
He drove 6 hours and then watched a whole show all day. Yeah.
I will always remember Fayetteville in the weirdest light because of that.
You gotta go play a show there.
I want to go play a show there really bad.
Y'all would do really well.
Bro, you know where we need to play is Nomads because like we've got a song.
Nomads, yeah.
But like for some reason we've had difficulty getting up there. Hopefully the Little Rock Pipeline will get us.
That's just kind of part. Yeah, you just play with a couple bands. Get a Condemned show. Set that up.
I would actually see that's the type of bands I would love to play with up there because I know after last night I want to play for people that want to move, you know what I mean, and people that physical response.
Yeah, but that's kind of like that's like per town. Some towns, like dude, they were on one Normagene played a show where people they just made them lay down. They just laid down.
What?
Right? The Normagene show on tour, the last tour they went on, where the people just literally
That was
Islander, but was playing before Normagene, and they were like, it was like the most low energy crowd ever.
Really?
And so they were like, let's just do something different. So they just got the whole crowd to just lay down.
Robert, we should have our entire crowd sit Indian style on the crowd. Just sit down with your legs crossed and just watch us quietly.
Be like, we're gonna sit down too, and you just bring the mic down. Everyone's just sitting like Robert's the tallest person.
Crisscross applesauce.
Yeah, crisscross applesauce. Holy shit!
Bring a pillow and a blanket to the Mammoth Caravan show. We're gonna put your ass to sleep.
We're gonna put your ass to sleep.
What was that shit?
We're gonna freeze your thoughts,
bro. Jacob Murray comes after me after we played the toy drive. He's like, was that one long song? And I just kind of laughed because it's like, well, I mean, yeah, kind of.
One of them is, right? One of them is like fucking 10 minutes or some shit. Yeah. Was it the second song y'all played? One of y'all
The
very last one?
Yeah, it's just a big old.
But the whole thing's the whole thing is thematic. Yeah.
Yep.
Lame Johnny's the same way. That whole thing is thematic too. I like it. It's cool. Got a whole premise you can play off of, and it's easy to come up with content too when you're kind of forced into a box of like thought.
Yep.
Like, if I was a mammoth, a woolly mammoth, what are some things I'd see and do? And then you just write to that or promote to that.
And that's how because we talked about it. We're like, do we paint ourselves into a corner with a theme? And I think the resounding's probably, but who cares?
Who cares? Yeah, because you can just make shit up, dude. Okay, well now mammoths never went extinct, and now they're on spaceships. I mean, we can get that ridiculous with it.
Well, we've actually talked about, and nobody better steal this. We actually talked about like the thing of mammoth in space, like what it would be like if a mammoth actually ended up like in another galaxy.
They did Jason in space.
You could do interdimensional mammoths,
dead zombie murderers in space.
Zombie mammoths,
dude, zombie mammoths. See, that's a movie right there.
Because, like, with this theme, Ice Cold Oblivion, the theme was ice, right? What we didn't realize is what's fun to write about and what's easy is to incorporate mammoths into stuff. So, I think...
Ice. I mean, you can do
because there's
pits.
Well, see...
That's the next record.
There's only so much you can do with the ice theme without ripping off Frozen Soul. Like, Frozen Soul, like, they've got...
Fair.
Hell, even they've got
their light show is... all blue. Everything is blue. Yeah. Like you're playing inside of an ice cube.
I'm scared Frozen Soul's going to sue us because I came up with the hook encased in ice. And I just... did I know that was a thing of theirs like in advance? Like maybe, but like I didn't. It was just
parallel thinking's a real thing.
You hear a guitar play this riff, and I just started singing "Encased in Ice" or whatever, and then I realized, oh shit, that's like a thing Frozen Soul did. But like, yeah, now they get those booty shorts that say "Encased in Ass." I'm like, missed opportunity there. We gotta do Mammoth Caravan booty shorts.
It's pretty simple, just that Tusky logo right down there on the front bit.
We're gonna get real kiss with our merchandise. You need Mammoth Caravan coffins and shit.
Go real Gene Simmons with it. Ain't nobody ever been on more shit than Kiss.
Backpacks, Mammoth Caravan backpacks with just Robert's face on it.
You want to do it real big, you do the little pouches everyone's carrying around now.
Oh yeah, wait, what are these called? The little fanny packs.
Fanny packs. Well, they're not fanny packs anymore because no one's wearing them like that. Fanny pack, the name is because you wear it on your fanny. But now it's like a side satchel. It's more of a satchel. It's more of a satchel than a fanny pack. Like it's a pack. It's smaller than what a satchel would be because a satchel you think like a male one, with the flap, the whole big space.
See, my thing is, I'm a death metal guy, so like I wear cargo shorts. So I've like got the extra extra pockets.
Y'all got all the room for shit. See, I'm thinking about becoming one of these pouch people one of these kangaroo humans because I got too much stuff in my fucking pockets now, man. There's too many things, wallets and phones,
receipts and like chains and all that weird shit.
Sounds like you need one of the new Mammoth Caravan ass sack.
Yo, ass sack. Some of that MMC AS's, bro. Robert's gonna go home tonight, get on Amazon, and be like, "How much for 10 ass pouch?"
Bro,
yeah. He's googling shit right now.
So you talk about like this dude's been like it's been such a fun experience because he knows all about making merch. I have no idea about any of that shit.
Y'all are such a triple threat because you got like merch god, king, doer over here. Yep. You got dude who knows all about behind the scenes with especially doing the journalism, things like that. And then you got Mr. Never stops writing guitar riffs for his whole life.
He literally never stops.
He doesn't stop. No, I know. Hey, he was in My Hands to War before. Like I'm aware.
Like this dude is always still sending us new riffs, and like it's
all he does.
I just want to shout out Evan Swift. I love him so much. He's such a good dude. It's so nice. And one thing I didn't realize how popular Evan was here until like I would see random people I still couldn't even remember names, be like, oh yeah, Mammoth Caravan. I know you guys. I'm friends with Evan.
Yep.
And so that was always really.
He's a fixture person. He's just everywhere and nowhere all at the same time.
And he's been in like so many fucking bands. And
so many bands.
It's cool like getting to be with people that have that experience. Me coming with not as much experience as a musician, but I know how the business works. I've been doing this for fucking ever. So like it's really been beneficial. And what's cool is like I guess for me like when Robert trusts me, like, hey, yeah, I'll let book this show. Let's do this. He had to, because with the PR thing, he had to trust me. He had to be like, because I don't think he believed in it at first. But then, like, once we had the decibel thing, I think that's when Robert was like, oh,
maybe
shit.
not believe in it, but you can be weary.
Because a lot of bands don't like. When I moved here, a lot of bands from Little Rock. And this is not a criticism, it's just an observation, don't use a lot of press. They don't utilize the press. And so that was what I wanted to do because I have a background. I love it. It's a passion. You know what I mean? So I think getting to utilize these, like, because Clawhammer sent our stuff all around the world. Literally. Like,
that's rad.
Like, there's a quote I sent.
I feel like y'all do really good overseas.
I think so too. Well, because doom and sludge are so fucking popular overseas. Jesus Christ,
especially like Russia. I feel like for some reason in Russia, y'all would
Russia, Sweden,
unbelievable.
Germany. Like I was so stoked when they posted a release of us in Germany because I'm like, they love this shit there. So like,
they might still possibly have them like that.
And like, I read a quote.
Is
fucking Finland.
Finland. There you go. That makes all the sense in the world.
Finland's the home of like death metal and black metal, so the fact that
they're just heavy in general, but also like y'all saw like Ice Theme, Mammoths, like that's where the Mammoths were. They were, in the cold environment. Like it all fits. It makes sense that it would be popular as fuck there.
It's Finland.
I can imagine.
And then the next most streamed place is Minneapolis.
Also cold.
Dude,
could possibly have.
Yeah.
Definitely still had some Mammoths.
It's weird that it's Minneapolis, Minnesota. I don't even fucking know anybody up there.
You don't have to. That's good. That's a great fucking thing. So you know where y'all need to go? Minneapolis, fucking Minnesota, because clearly your second place is Minneapolis.
Shout out Minneapolis,
There's where your
Minnesota.
fans
Maybe we
are.
could get a show at the Mall of America.
You can. You 100% can. They do shows there all the time.
Show the Lego store.
Yo,
Hell
bro.
yeah.
Hey,
I want to play in the spot where they did WCW Nitro there, so I could be like, dude, we played at the place where Lex Luger appeared on Nitro. I'm a big pro wrestling fan. That's why also going to Memphis was fun. We didn't get to go in it, unfortunately, but we got to see Jerry Lawler's barbecue shop. It's got all this cool merch and stuff in it, or like cool memorabilia and shit.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and the dude that promoted our show like works on this like TV show that's about wrestling, so that was like really. And over
fun.
Christmas, I got to work with Mitch. We wrote a script for a movie that's like a wrestling movie. I don't know what's gonna happen with it, but I really, really, really want it to be a thing because it's called Blood Tornado Wrestling, and I like am really excited about getting to unleash that shit on people. Yeah. It's cool.
Is this Mitch Lang, the guy from Monroe?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Me and him still like work together because we have such a good like kinship as like creators that even when because I told him it's like when I move,
when you find a person you can riff off of, that's so important in this.
I told him even though I'm moving, this isn't done. It's just I'm relocating.
Different.
I'm learning and I've learned so fucking much.
Now thanks to the pandemic, I mean really large part like getting to someone visually now is like just click this button. You know, we have FaceTime and shit, but now it's like from any device ever.
Even like the script writing software is designed specifically so that
In
me
real
and him
time.
could edit it at the same time.
At the same
I can be
time.
typing and he's typing like a scene below. That was a really odd experience, and like because that also happened fast as shit. It was, hey, I'm writing this movie right now. Do you want to help? And I said, yes. Here's what scene I want you to write. And I would just take it, and there was these awkward conversations with the dude and his wife. And I'm like the master of awkward conversations. So getting to write these.
What was the name again?
It's called Blood Tornado Wrestling. That's not the official name, but
It
it's
needs
called
to
the
be.
Blood Tornado Wrestling Federation.
Okay.
Because I was at work one day. I was the director for the news at this TV station, and so I had to sit. And I was just sitting there listening to the meteorologist talk, and I was trying to find songwriting inspiration. I was like, what can I write about tornadoes? I wonder if there's ever been a tornado with blood. And then it was just like, oh shit. So then I asked my friend Brian Briggs, shout out Brian Briggs. Hey guys, I was like, Brian, is it possible? He's like this meteorologist. Now he lives in Texas. But I was like, is it possible for like a blood tornado to be a thing? And he's like,
If enough living creatures got inside of it, I guess.
yeah, actually it kind of is a thing. It could be. That's all I needed. So then I was going to make it
like a Texas.
I was gonna make it a
cow
song.
farm.
I was going to make like the blood tornado concept be a song. And it's like, well, I'm going to do a wrestling podcast. And then so I still have no idea what I'm going to do with that branding, but I know I have to do something with it. So now with this movie, I'm like, maybe that's what I'm supposed to do with it. That's what I hope anyway.
Sounds insane. Have y'all finished the script?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
shit.
fucking brutal. It's because it's about a guy who does deathmatch wrestling, but it's taking a toll on his life and his family and all that stuff. You know,
I just saw my first one. I could see why. Oh my God, you were there,
Were you-
right?
No, I wasn't there, but I saw the videos of the dude getting a pizza slice staple gun
I
to
was
him.
right in front of me, right here. His head was right the fuck, like standing up. You just look down, there he is, and I just watched him clink a fucking piece of pizza. I have the footage on my thing. I'll try to find it.
That was
before y'all,
so
it was
much fun.
unbelievable.
I was like, we'll say I saw that. I'm like, I thought that was really cool, and I'm sad I didn't get to make it to that. But yeah,
happening
that's,
again.
That's what I want to do. Is like I think it's fun to write about these incredibly brutal. Like there's this thing called a buckets of blood match in there where you have to like fill up to a line. Ugh, that was gross to read. I let Mitch write it, but it was so gross to read it.
Good God.
Yeah.
Is that real? That's not real, right?
No, it's not a.
It's not a real life
I'll
thing.
say
This is
this.
something y'all came up with.
I'll say this: there's some pretty awful people that could probably make it be a real thing.
Yeah.
It's the
There's a lot of
concept that I came up
backyard
with.
shit going
I just wrote out every different match type I could come up with. There was one where like one of my favorite match types I created is having two wrestlers have to like paint a painting, but like they have to use the other person's blood to like as the ink to like make a painting.
Like
so,
as he's down,
so
they
not
just come over
only
and, like,
so you have to like fight them, incapacitate him, then take the blood and then go paint something with it. And like I'm a weirdo.
It's incredibly fucked up.
I have a very interesting imagination.
Wow, man, what a hell of a fucking 2 years you've had.
It's been fucking nuts.
We've been talking this whole time about a 2-year gap for the most part. Most of this podcast has been about the last 2 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's so overwhelming sometimes.
I can't even imagine. Yeah, do yeah. Or do you have like a lady or a wife or a family?
No.
I don't know anything about you in that
so
regard.
I did have a wife, and then like yeah,
Sure.
We're still friends. It's it's cool, but that was sort of whenever we separated. Is sort of I was like, okay, what do I really want to do in my life? Because I could have just collapsed into a depressive pile and not done anything.
Yeah.
But that's when there was these two dudes at work were like wanted to hang out with me, and nobody that really had shown an interest in wanting to hang out with me, and now I've got time, and so I went to karaoke with them, and I started singing, and I wanted to make them laugh. I was like, okay, if I'm going to sing for these dudes at this karaoke, like, I want to make them laugh. So, like, what do I want to do? I'll just do some screaming. It's fine. And I did a Metallica song, but I did it with, like, some extra gutturals and a little extra, like, oomph to it.
Put some stank on it.
Put some stank on it. And I just wanted my friends to laugh, dude. I was so sad, so heartbroken. And not only did they, like, enjoy it, but then other people were telling me nice things. And really, that's what kickstarted this, because that when people started saying nice things about my singing, I was like, oh, I need to do this more, you know.
How about that?
And like when we were on tour in Texas, I sort of like learned how to. I think I leveled up one night. Like it was the only time I've ever gotten drunk and played a show. I was just having a bad day. They had this drink at the bar called the shout out to the Aero Bar in Texarkana. Had this drink called the Liquid Black Sabbath or something. I'm like, I'm gonna drink this, and they gave us like all these coins. So I got fucked up, and I leveled up. We played. I leveled up that night playing and singing at the same time, because I guess I finally was able to separate the whatever it is in your brain that makes it hard to sing and move your hands at the same time. And
the limb independence is what they call it.
Oh, Limb Independence. That sounds like a cool band name,
right?
But yeah. So like and I just kind of it's all been a big learning process and stuff over these last 2 years, and like, but I've learned to pursue my own happiness, and I'm not always happy. You know what I mean? It's a miserable life at some points, but like I'm very enthusiastic, and I always overemphasize the positives. It's very depressing, and like being here, like it was very lonely in the beginning, and that's why I had to seek out people to become friends with. You know what I mean? Started adding people. Like I had added Kurt on Facebook. I had no idea who he was. I just saw people like Little Rock people
going down going down those lists.
Matt Johnson, Kurt. And like I was adding all these people, and then I went to my first Eyes Up house and got to meet those people, and everybody was really nice to me, you know, and it was nice that these people like Jake, because it was specifically Jake, Kurt, and Matt. Like that night, we're all very like, "Welcome to Little Rock. We're glad to have you here." And like I felt part of something, you know. And that's the one thing I would like to mostly emphasize about Little Rock is everybody's just been so sweet. Everybody from Stan just to like all the way down, you know, in the music scene. All the people that come to shows, everybody's just so sweet. Right. And like, you know, it's so. Not only is it easy to make friends here, it's been so much fun, you know what I mean? Man. So
that's really cool to hear, man. What a hell of a story.
And I don't, as far as like Mammoth Caravan this year, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with this, because the possibilities are quite literally endless at this point, is the way we kind of see it. So we have to keep it very, very focused, and like, and we have to look at it very business-like, which to keep it, I guess, doing what it wants to do and what it's supposed to do. Right. So
keep the focus, and I think it's all upward from here for sure.
Oh yeah.
It's been nothing but upward since you started it.
It's been easy. I mean, it's not always easy, but
it's not supposed to be.
Getting together, showing up at Robert's house and getting in the room with him and Evan and playing heavy metal is super easy. Sure. You know? And then like going and meeting up and playing at Vino's, playing at Whitewater, playing at Area 51. Never again. It's easy, you know what I mean? But everything between those parts is where it's
that's
difficult.
All the weird parts. Yeah, that's the difficult shit. But that's the, like that's the part that you're just like, fuck, I guess if we want it, we got to do it.
And we're still learning. Like, one thing that Robert pointed out, I guess I didn't think about, is like when we play Vino's, we're so used to like, okay, we got to get on and off super quick. The dudes in Memphis were like, how the fuck did y'all get all your stuff off stage that fast? Because like we're so used to playing Vino's
now. Bands that come up behind us are screaming, "Get the fuck off the stage!"
The promoter literally came up to me and was just like, "I cannot believe you guys got your gear off that quick."
Nothing better than showing up and being professional as fuck just from your normal habits.
Yeah, because we'll see Robert's beating this into me because like we had one moment at our first show. Robert's like, "I need you to help me like tear this stuff down and get this off," because I was just talking, being stupid. I didn't, I just played my first. She's like, "I need you to help me with this," and it clicked. And so now, like we've and with Evan, it's clicked. Like we all just sort of now we discuss it. Like before we even played, I asked Robert, "Okay, so when we get done, what are we doing?" And he told me, "All right, we're taking our stuff and we're gonna go put it in that room." So I automatically knew where I was taking my stuff.
Yep.
And it's that like it's the same thing, like.
Preach.
And so I see this as my heavy metal boot camp, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Getting
absolutely.
to learn and experience those things. And, whatever happens going forward, now I know, like, oh, when you play a show, get your shit off stage as fast as possible.
Every venue, the first thing I do when I walk in is get a visual of all the things, the layout, where's it go, where's it come on at, where's it go off at. Yeah. It's all business, like the first hour. Set up, get everything, exactly in line. That way, literally, it's just move a pedal board, put it on the ground. Guitar's already tuned. All I gotta do is turn the fucking thing on and we're good.
Yeah.
The hardest thing you should do is like set up drums. Because unless you're doing like a backline kit. But, like those kind of, that shit's important.
Yeah. And I didn't, like, these are the things you never, like, as a show goer, you never, like, think about and stuff. But now,
that's why at festivals, everyone's like, thank the guys working, because like those dudes are busting their ass to make sure there's only 5 minutes in between each band.
And thank the backline, like those fucking. I feel so bad for those Ampegs at Bitter Fest.
They're just on.
It's just on the whole
12
time.
fucking hours. It's
Just
hot as shit.
Tired as fuck.
Just running. Motherfucker's been on since 1973 and just still crushing ass, dude. Ampeg is. There's no doubt about it that them at the Orange Rock Reverb and the Marshall JCM 800 900 series are like the working horse. The Shure SM58, the microphone of multiple generations, like endless. There's like. Those things can just be on and work and just, you never really have issues with them.
And they sound so
ever.
And it's funny, like in a backline, like festival environment, like it's always fascinating to me how like literally all you have to do, the tonal difference is heads and like pedals and stuff.
Pedals, yeah.
And cause those are also things I never thought about until I started playing music. Like, and now it's like, this whole new world is opened up. It's so.
Well, in this right here. And this is the most important instrument
in the
world.
This is where it comes from.
That right hand. It all comes from here. Because I could play a riff from a band with the guy sitting there on an amp and have the exact same settings, and then that guy play the riff, and it's going to come out different.
I saw Eddie Van Halen and Jerry Cantrell were talking about that. Like Jerry Cantrell said, I got to play Eddie Van Halen's thing. It just sounded like me playing through Eddie Van Halen's rig.
Right.
Then he played through mine, and it sounded like Eddie Van Halen playing through Alice in Chains' rigs. That is insane to me. You know what I mean? Like it's like when they say like the tone comes from like the hands.
The person, yeah.
It's weird.
I'm a firm believer in that. Like 90% of all the thing is just this thing right here. It's doing all the work. This one, it's just the muscle memory, like how and when and where. So like from here to here though, like the structure and how you're doing it.
Because you got to sync this up with the voice.
Oh yeah, man. Everything.
That way. What did you call it? Limb independence.
Limb independence. Yeah. It's a real bitch, especially in drumming, because you don't just have here to here. It's this one, this one, this one, this one, and some of us this one, all at the same time, all doing different shit.
Yeah. Oh my god, I didn't even
constantly.
I could never play drums. Did he tell you he started playing drums just for this band? No, I'm like, I could never.
That's another crazy thing. Like y'all are the only seasoned one of you is Evan.
Yeah, as far as these specific things, yeah. And like the only reason I even have any season on bass is just because like I went on
the
tour with
closet
that band.
Guitar and the bass,
Yeah. Like But a weird moment is like the only time sorry if my parents are watching this. The only time I ever took like shrooms was on tour, and this dude looked at me. This dude who is a very shout out Texarkana. This dude looked at me and goes, "Brandon, you're a phenomenal bass player." And I was like, I was gone at the time, but those
Your
words.
nose is a mountain, dude.
Always picture he was in a band called Beaver. God, I love that dude. He looked at me and he's like, "You're a phenomenal bass player." And I was like, what?
Phenomenal bass.
But I'm just going, bah, 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 you know.
Hey, man.
But those words stuck. So when I was like, well, when Robert said, well, what do you do when you want to play bass? And I was like, yeah, I do. Let's do
Absolutely.
it. I got this badass 5-string. Dude, that bass that I use.
What is your bass? What is that
It's
brand?
an Ibanez Geo.
Ibanez, okay.
I got that fucker for $98 at a pawn shop in Monroe,
Shout the
Louisiana.
fuck out, dude.
And it sounds
More than the bass.
yeah, it sounds so good. Like there's certain when I hit the 12th fret on that top string,
Yep.
it just makes me feel things. I love it so much.
That woo.
It's just a weird wood
It
sound.
hits that sub-octave level, too.
Yeah.
You know, where you're getting all that low end
Because
poking through
we're
your
only
body.
at B. It's not like we're tuning down like double drop F or anything. You know, I mean, it's just B.
It's just
Whereas
B.
the same tuning as Attack Attack.
It's just B. Just get some 7 strings and fucking tune it down a whole step. You're good, bro.
Well, see, but I had my first guitar. I didn't my friend Lucius, who actually, he was in Monroe. He's from Little Rock. Then he moved to Monroe. Then after I moved to Little Rock, he moved back to Little Rock. He set up my guitar for me to be in B standard because I saw that Entombed and Electric Wizard both played in B.
So y'all are in B standard?
I learned how to play basically in
So
B
it's drop
standard.
B. Okay.
And then, so then
So
with
C drop B.
yeah.
Okay.
And so with these dudes, yeah, they were like, well, we do the B, F sharp B, and whatever else comes after it.
And you're like, those are words that exist. Sure.
Oh, I used to study music theory religiously.
Oh, really?
Like, as
Oh,
I
not
was
me.
learning to play, I was religiously studying scales. I couldn't tell you anything about any of it. I could only name like 3
Fucking
scales.
thing.
Aeolian, Mixolydian.
If you ain't going, hey, that 3 to 5,
Phrygian.
the one that went 3 to 5, yo, that's tight. If you're like that F sharp to C minor, if that's even a fucking thing. Still to this day, 25 years I've been doing this, dude. Like, what?
Evan looks at me like, I'll be like, oh, so you're just going from the F sharp to the A, right? And he's like,
Which
I guess.
dot is that? The first one or the second? Yeah.
But see, I think Robert knows more about music theory than any of us in this band. Well, but I've done a lot of studying, so I have a pretty good understanding. So when people talk to me about it, like my friend Gavin, and like in the band in McGower, I would like also, he knows so much about that. So getting to play with someone that studies music theory is also really interesting.
It's hyper beneficial in writing because I get to write songs with Justin, and he's a music theory juggernaut. Like,
Oh,
the
really?
dude just has a wealth of. Dude, you can literally be playing a note and be like, I want to do the opposite of this note on the next thing. And he'll go look at it and he'll go, okay, 1, 2, 3, he'll tell you the arrangement and you'll hit it and you'll be like, that's exactly what the fuck was in my head.
That's awesome.
That's exactly what was in my head. And
See,
it's
that
happened
sounds fun.
1,000 times. I don't know shit about fuck. I can tell you that when I go like to 7 and when I start going backwards, when I get to 5, it's cool. That's a good, those two go together. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, 0357.
I mean,
Shout out.
it took me a long
That's the
time to
only
move down
frets
that
you need.
fretboard, dude.
That's the, well, see, like, I mean, 0, 3, 5, 6, 7. Those are
I mean,
really the
Shimfo
only
was the
things you-
first band I was ever in where I was writing songs and notes were going past the 5th fret. I was locked in, Daddy.
I
Just
mean-
fucking, you could have made a guitar and chopped off the whole front half of that motherfucker,
I
dude.
would have been playing ukulele.
I'm uked up.
Yeah.
I just got a ukulele, actually. I need to start putting it in more shit. I got it. It's from Hawaii, dude. All the way.
Oh, wow.
Made from real, what's that, Kona wood? What's the wood? Koa wood? It's sick. It reverberates and echoes all on its own. It's got this crazy pickup in it. My brother got it for me.
Is
It's
it a Fishman
wild.
pickup?
I think it is a Fishman.
Wait,
It's-
really?
It's like, it's got all these buttons and
Does
knobs.
it gent?
Honestly, if any ukulele could, it's fucking this one, dude. Does it gent? All right, Terry Berry or whoever, isn't that right? Terry
I
Berry?
love Steve Terry.
Yeah.
He's annoying as fuck, but I enjoy him.
All the
I think a lot of people could say that about me too. So fuck it.
It's all right. Being annoying, you're just you, man.
Yeah.
You're unapologetically you too. I like you. That's
No,
for
I'm
that
very
reason.
apologetically about me.
Why?
I don't know.
I've never
because
seen
I
you
feel like
apologize for being yourself.
I apologize to myself for being the way that I am. It's very like I don't know. I don't see myself the way other people see me. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, trust me.
I'm
I
not
do.
my biggest fan. It's taken a lot of effort to get to this confidence and self-love to do what I'm doing, but yeah.
You do need more confidence.
I
Yeah,
do.
for sure.
And we'll see. And it's like I have confidence enough to where, like, if you were to ask me to start singing something right now, I could start singing for you, no matter what. Like, because it happened. What was it? Was it the Toy Drive show? I met this lady. She was really sweet, but she did that weird thing. She's like, "Oh, you're a singer? Well, sing me something." And I fucking hit immediately to
That's
Carrie
when you just
Underwood.
rip a fart.
I started screaming. I started screaming Carrie Underwood. You like any
He started screaming Carrie Underwood.
But then, like,
That's a perfect response to that question.
yeah, I'm like, I dug my key into the side. You know, like, I hit it immediately. But then, like, if it's just, but then other situations, I have zero confidence. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah.
And so, yeah.
I just got, dude. I say you need
taken
more
a lot of
confidence. It took
work.
me a long time to get there too, and now I am more confident. Like it's particularly like drumming. I didn't even consider myself a drummer till just a few years ago.
Really?
Yeah,
How long have you been playing drums?
20 years.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Damn. That's why, like,
but like legit, like I was always like I'm not really like good. I can't do the things the people I look up to can do.
Yeah.
So
I feel that.
What
a
even
lot.
is that? You know, like I've always been like you can say I'm a drummer because I play a drum kit, but I don't think I'm a drummer because when you look at it, it's like if I said I was a bassist, like yeah, I'm not fucking Geddy Lee. I'm not the dude from Primus. No. You know, I'm not world class musician bass player. But what does that even mean too, right?
Right.
So it's kind of just more in my
one
head
thing
about
Reed
it.
Rayleigh told me, because you know Reed Rayleigh from Wake and stuff.
yeah.
Because one time he played bass for Noctimistium. Not a shout out to Blake Judd, not an endorsement of Blake Judd. He's an asshole. But Reed played in Noctimistium.
Unshout out to
asked
this
him,
fucking guy.
I asked him, I was like, "What was it like playing in Noctimistium and playing that big festival?" And he goes, "It's all the blues, man."
You know what? Solid response. Philip,
And that's what I was telling the dude from Moisturizer last night. It was like, yeah, like you guys are slow, we're fast, and it technically shouldn't work, but it's all the blues. It does work, you know.
it works. Why not? Dude, mixed genre, I think, is the like that's the show, man.
Especially in Little Rock, it's a big deal.
God, it works so good.
Yeah, it does. Like you could throw like
the
like
night's just
Uniwa,
exciting,
like
man.
Uniwa opening for Go for Gold or opening that show. Like that was a cool experience, and I want to see Uniwa do more stuff with like in the.
He wants to do more stuff. He was just on. That's what he was talking about.
That should be. I think that is that's a special person in this music scene for sure. Because a lot of the shit he's doing, I've noticed, and I've only met him a
100%.
couple of times, but like he was really nice. But like all the stuff he's doing is very grassroots and stuff. So,
He's down there, man. He's in the shit. He's in
Yeah.
the thick of it. Just
and like that's
rooting around
people
trying
like,
to find something.
People like him and like Stan are big like inspirations to me. Like, you know, Go for Gold, like Tiny Towns, all those bands are huge inspirations to me personally because I see what they've done with what they've got, you know.
Absolutely.
And because like Tiny Towns, they're an Arkansas band, but you would never know by listening to them or seeing them live because they have no.
Dude, like every local, we say local because we're from here and they are too.
Yeah.
But there are bands that start and their first fucking show, you're like, because I think local comes with the connotation of sort of good, you know, like you have this already like set in your brain preconceived notion of how they're going to be. But like 98% of the local bands here are absolute murderers. They crush on
Like
a level.
mega professional
It's
musicians.
crazy. Right out of the gate, too. Not even like, yeah, we've played 1,000 shows. This is our second show ever. And you're like, you got to be fucking around.
And like, well, see, Paul Bearer was like that, right? Like, I wasn't here or didn't get to see Paul Bearer. I've never seen Paul Bearer live, which is kind of embarrassing. It's one reason why I want to play with him because I want to see him. And even if I can't play
Like
with him, I
here,
wanna
you're
go
getting a
see him.
headlining set from
And
every
like-
band almost every night.
Yeah, and like everybody here is it's interesting how insanely talented everybody here is. And then like the dudes that are in multiple bands, you know, like, and there's dudes that are in 2 different bands that are like popping off. Like CT's in like 3 different bands that have had some moderate level of like high level of success, you know what I mean? And like, you know,
Fucking Ted from Peach Blush.
yeah, Ted, Stan, Morbid Visions, like as Evan, like all of those, like it's interesting.
Tommy with Condemn and Terminal, like there's a bunch.
Yeah,
there's a bunch.
It's very that's really fascinating to me. I like that, and I like that I get to be in 2 different bands. Like I don't know where things are going with Gal Rowdy just yet, but like it's fun getting to play something a little bit out of my comfort
Whatever's supposed
zone.
to happen will happen. You just let it be,
and you know, getting to play like because it's a little bit faster. You know what I mean? So like it's fun getting to learn about myself and like learn like can I do this? You know,
that's me and Crows right now. Like we're just kind of like. I'm literally like, I'll show up, I'll help craft the songs, y'all do the rest, whatever I can help with, I'll help with. And it's neat to be not the person doing stuff and just be kind of like watching it happen. And it works like a fucking charm. Like they write most of the stuff, she writes all her own lyrics. And they're goofy as hell. Like we have a song called T-Rex Boyfriend. And it's literally about a dream my wife had where she had a boyfriend that was a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Oh, she's so
like, that's
awesome,
the song,
man.
dude.
See, I love y'all because like I remember getting to see y'all at that show at the Labyrinth, and I was like, what the fuck? And see, one of my favorite things about Crazy is I love Ian's like setup, like the fact that this dude bought a dark glass cab just to like fucking add just a little extra oomph.
Terror amp, like dude, it's all the oomph.
Yeah,
my favorite, like we've done a couple of shows only, but my favorite one was the Vinos, dude, because we sound checked each amp. My God, the tone, because that guitar is a fucking $2,000. That's my guitar. That
Really?
Telly, that's mine.
Oh wow,
that's got Fishman's in it, loaded up. Like I spent a fortune just making it better than it already was. And just his whole setup is just as professional as you can fucking make it. That middle cab, the guitar cabinet, that's Jeremy McHale and his dad built that.
Really?
Yeah. It's loaded up with Celestians. Like, it's unreal, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's like the most tone I've ever heard from a single human on one side of the room.
And you guys don't even play fucking doom metal. That's like some shit doom metal bands do, bro. Like,
it's fucking
right,
we're writing
exactly.
Paramore riffs, man.
They all writing Paramore riffs with this big like, well, like even Healing Magic, the band that I saw, like where they was like, it's just 2 dudes, but they had like fucking like 3 or 4 different guitar cabs just for, or like 3 guitar cabs and a bass cabinet for like their guitarist. That's wild.
I love shit like that.
I think it's cool, and that's another thing. Like it's distinctly, well, I don't know if it's distinctly Little Rock, but it's distinctly you guys. You know, you're doing things your own way.
Yeah,
and and I think that's why it works.
I think that's what you have to do now, right? That's what you guys are doing. That's what everybody. I mean,
authenticity will always win.
There's doing your version of something. You know, like, oh, I really like this. Let me do my version of it. But being yourself now, I think used to. You could be like this persona thing, and I don't think that really works like it used to. I think that was more of like before we could peek behind the curtain infinitely kind of vibe.
Like even when I first moved here, I was like, oh, I'm Mr. Cool Guy, like death metal or whatever, and I have to play death metal and I have to be brutal and like I have to be like blah.
Right.
And then it's like the opportunity to play Doom came along, and I'm like, these are the songs that we're playing. This is the type of shit that I've started learning guitar to learn how to do and to play, so that's when you're like, okay, well, maybe this isn't what I envisioned, but let's just do it, and then it worked so well, then it's like, oh, okay, well, there we go.
There you go. That's all you need.
Yeah,
there's the answer.
And I think because it seems like so often there's this pressure. People feel like they have to be something. That you have to be, okay, I want people to mosh for us, so we have to have these jigga breakdowns and shit, you know what I mean? And so I hope that people like understand like it's really about letting your personality come out and not what you think you should be doing, It's what are you good at? It's, kind of, and then taking like, oh well, I'm good at this, so you expound upon it.
Even if it's not what you want to do, if it's you though, that's what it is.
Authenticity always wins.
Nowadays, like 100%. I've talked about that a bunch would just, even not only here, but like just crowds of people, you'd be like, yeah, people want someone who's going to be their self, even if the thing they're doing is ha 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 ha, but they're still being them. Like, who's that crazy ass comedian that has that talk show, Eric Andre? Where it's just unfucking real, but that dude ain't faking. I don't get the vibe that that's just some show. I think if I'm talking to him at some bar and we're just checking, something weird's coming out of his mouth for sure.
I literally
like,
just tagged him in a post in this crash cast to investigate 3
Oh, there you go. What are we on time? I forgot we have an out.
I don't have it out anymore.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, we do have it now because I gotta go get my dog here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
Shout out Merle Warner.
He's in our music video. My dog's in the music video.
Hey, can we watch it before y'all leave?
Yes.
All right. You good?
Yeah.
Plug your socials.
So, Mammoth Caravan is on Facebook, or as I like to pronounce it, Mammoth Caravan. We're on Facebook. Please, listen, go like us on Instagram. We got to get those Instagram followers up. We only have like 350 some, and Instagram's super popular. Please follow us on Instagram. So our album comes out. Yeah, it's at Instagram.com/Mammoth Caravan Doom. My favorite is when I'll talk to people at like bars and shit, and they're like, just type it for me. And so then I'm like,
That's
follow.
like 73
And then
letters.
I'll be like, hey, can I pull us on Spotify? And go there, Spotify, pull it up, bang, follow.
Fuck
And,
yeah.
and I love networking like that. It's so guerrilla, and it's because
Get one of them little tappy cards. Dude, I've been seriously thinking about that shit.
those
Just having it in my wallet and being like, just tap my wallet with your phone, it'll pop up. Boom, there it is. Shit makes a lot of sense.
We do need one of those. Okay, so album comes out February 25th. You can pre-order it on our Bandcamp, mammothcaravan.bandcamp.com. Spotify, it's going to be on, I don't know, all of the things.
And the record comes out fucking today, because when this comes out, that's today.
It's
the song.
The music video comes out today. Then our song Petroglyphs comes out today. And then the record comes out about a month from this day. And then we're like I said, March 18th, we're doing our record release show with Bongzilla and Deadbird.
At Whitewater, I assume?
At Whitewater.
Sick.
Ooh, it's going to be so packed.
It's
gonna be
going to be our
nuts.
biggest show of the year.
Yeah.
Like-
And he was he had mentioned something about a cool production and everything, so I'm excited.
Yeah, we've got some ideas.
Don't say it.
We just want to make it special. What
Yes.
we really want to do, because like, okay,
understand that.
this is our coming out party. This is our chance to play with our heroes, right?
Hey.
This is our chance to play with our biggest, like, with a band like Bongzilla that's
Sure.
super popular. We get to play with a band that's mega influential to us, and it's our record release.
Happy
we
for
finally
y'all,
get
man.
to
That's fucking
sell
awesome.
CDs and shirt.
It's a big deal.
Is get your fucking ticket now and don't be the dumbass smoking weed by yourself in the parking lot.
Right, because it's gonna be. Well,
I had to listen from through the wall, man.
Yeah,
You
all
will
those.
be able to hear it outside.
You'll
Yeah,
definitely
for
be able
sure.
to hear it outside. Dude, we were taking pictures with Kurt while fucking Mudlong played, and we could hear him damn near perfectly.
Mudlug, dude, what a band name, dude.
What a band name. And they're such wonderful people, too.
Mammoth Caravan's a fucking. I mean, that's just.
Yeah, I'm still see my suggestions were, because Robert was like, he goes, hey, so what do you think we should name this thing? And he sort of threw a name out there, and I took or maybe I didn't see the name, but I took a nap, and then I woke up, and Robert had suggested Mammoth Caravan, had a logo, and I was like,
Y'all move so fast. This
my
man is
suggestions were going to be Weedy and Nazareth, but it was going to be OUIDIAN, because like Weedy and Nazareth is a sleep reference. But like I saw on TikTok people say weed like OUID. I was like, oh, that's a cool idea. And so I was going to suggest Weedy and Nazareth, and then I was going to suggest Sludge Coffin. And I'm going to be honest with you, Corey. Mammoth Caravan is way better than both of those.
I think so too. I have to agree on that one. I'd hate to run around having to say whatever the first one was.
Oh, nobody would know how to pronounce Weedy
exactly.
and Nazareth.
Well, like I was telling the dude that was at the promoter at the show last night, like what I was listening to is an Acid Mammoth song called Caravan, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, Mammoth Caravan! It sounds really cool." And so when I googled Mammoth Caravan, nothing popped up, like no band names, no anything, and it was like the last original band name in this world is just now taken.
There you go.
Yeah.
And
And
even this podcast has there's so many crash casts out there, but it's all like the podcast one is toy airplanes. That's what it's about. And he did like 4 episodes, and he owns all the good social media names.
Oh, no.
I was like, I don't know how to. He hasn't checked them since like 2016.
Maybe this is what made you call it Crash Cast? Was there like a specific like?
I genuinely don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's just what was in my brain. It
Cool.
got said, and I was like, that's tight. I love it. It came up in a conversation, and I want to start my own venue and call it the Crash Castle. But, shit. Yeah. That's like future things.
Future things.
Yeah. I just see it. It's like with the neon light outside. You don't see that anymore.
Right.
You know, venue with like the neon name.
Dude, I love the venue. I want to play. One thing I really want to see is to see our name on a marquee outside some venue somewhere.
God, mine was my first time ever was in Cabot with the first version of Annabelle at a place that was like it was a fucking plant. It was a plant nursery. Mm-hmm. And we were on the marquee out front.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. It was just to me, it was exciting enough just seeing our poster on the wall at the fucking High Tone, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's cool.
That's sick.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun.
You're so awesome, dude. Yeah. You're one unique individual. I love your story, too. That's fucking wild. I can't believe it's just been 2 years. That's wild. Yeah. All right, everybody, go check them out. Go watch the music video because it's out available right now.
Through the Obelisk is one of our favorite like heavy metal sites.
And it's hosted.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, there you go. Fuck, that's even better.
Thank you, Clawhammer PR. I could not express how grateful we are for the things you've done for us.
Absolutely. And we're at Crashcast Pod and Crashcast Pod on Twitter. Crashcast Pod 1. That's it. Thank you for listening.